Peace and love, Black family. It's the Prince of Pan-Africanism, Dr. Umar Johnson. Welcome to another edition of the Tuesday morning Black Parent Teleconference. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I need some of my mother's good old-fashioned chicken noodle soup. I'm a little bit under the weather today, dealing with a little bit of a cold bug, you know. So when I get back to Philly today, I'm baptizing myself in some garlic, some onion, some chicken noodle. Proud of myself, 365 days and basically no meat, okay, except fish and seafood. So guess what? I celebrated backstage this past Sunday at the Shrine of the Black Madonna with my brother's cooking. One of my vendor brothers here in Atlanta, he had some nice Jamaican food. It was the bomb. So guess what? I had my first chicken wing since 2015 on Sunday, January the 1st of 2017, okay? Don't worry, I'm going to get back in my lane, though. I wish I never had that chicken, though, because it was so good. It helped me remember how good the chicken wings were. But I'm going to fall back, and I'm going to get back into my zone, okay? And no meat. I'm going to get back on my fish and my seafood. You feel me? So, before I call in, let me call into the parents. Okay. Let's get the parents on the line.
Attendees in this conference. The host has joined the conference.
Okay. So parents, if you have any questions, you can call 857-232-0158, 857-232-0158, 857-232-0158, and the access code is 870-864-POUND. Okay? And remember, this is a call dedicated to the children. But what I'm going to do in the new year is I'm going to start a call for the community, because I know you guys like to have a conversation, right? Y'all like to talk to me about different things. And a lot of times when you come to the events, there's so many people at the event that you really don't have time to talk to me. So I want to start like a networking call so I can find out who in the community has skills and services, programs, initiatives, resources that we can tap into as we revitalize the international movement for the independence and protection of African people. That's the formal name of Dr. Umar Johnson's 12-year-old organization, the International Movement for the Independence and Protection of African People, otherwise known as Team Pan-African. So before I go to the first call, let everyone know that I will be in Los Angeles on Sunday. Los Angeles this Saturday, West Coast Stand Up. I want to see everyone there. I want to see Compton, South Central, Watts, Long Beach. Okay, all the university students, come on out. All right. Oakland, drive on down. San Fran, drive on down. San Diego, drive on up. Okay. So Los Angeles this Saturday at the Ward AME Church. Make sure you're in the building. 12 and under free. 65 and older also free. Get your tickets at princeofpanafricanism.eventbrite.com. And then I will be keynoting the Honorable Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad Earth Day celebration in Brooklyn. Okay. This is my third or fourth consecutive invite, but I wasn't able to attend last year. We had to move the venue. The response from the New York City family has been so overwhelming that we had to move the venue. So that's on the 12th. And then I will be in Durham, North Carolina on the 17th. Durham, North Carolina, January the 17th. However, on Monday the 16th, I was invited by the Reverend Bernice King to participate in a race relations panel at the Martin Luther King Jr. Center right here in Atlanta. So if you couldn't get in Sunday because we were sold out, Atlanta, the Prince of Pan-Africanism, will be back on Monday, January the 16th at the Martin Luther King Center for the Reverend Bernice King conversation on race. Contact the King Center. Let them know you want to see Dr. Umar Johnson. How can you get tickets? And then we will end everything in San Diego with the most important National Independent Black Parent Association West Regional National Invitation Training Conference, Friday and Saturday, January 27th and 28th, from 9 in the morning until 6 p.m. 9 in the morning until 6 p.m. If you want to help our children, if you want to help our parents, you got to get off your behind and do it. You can register. $50 is all the cost for the whole weekend. That money don't go in my pocket. It helps fund the programs. Okay? Book your flight. All of us in the West Coast, Midwest is cold. East Coast and Midwest is cold. So come on out to San Diego and get a weekend of fun in the sun. A weekend of fun in the sun as we organize to help our parents. And then the last lecture of January will also be in San Diego at the World Beat Cultural Center on Sunday the 29th. And then we kick off Black History Month, Bowie State University. We kick off Black History Month, Bowie State University on February the 1st. So let's go to the calls. Good morning, parents. Is there someone to get us started with a call this morning, with a question this morning?
Good morning.
Good morning, sister. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Rochester, New York.
Rochester, New York, where my ancestor Frederick Douglass sleeps with the
wow.
ancestors.
I got through so quickly. Thank you, Dr. Umar, for all your contributions to us and keeping us taught. My question for you this morning is about my 4-year-old son. He is, I see him with no educational or developmental or social issues. However, when he's at school, he does not engage with his teachers. He plays with the children. He's in Head Start. And I've noticed this is his second year in Head Start. And I've noticed that he does not engage with his teachers or with the other children as he does with his family. Now, I have him at 45, so he has no siblings or cousins or kids around him that are his age that he plays with on a regular basis. He's mostly around adults, but he has no social issues at home. He has no problems wanting to play with other kids or engaging with other kids when we're, when my children, my older children are around their friends with their children, if I'm being clear. My question is, the teachers are encouraging me and have been encouraging me since last year to apply for special education or have him evaluated for special education. And I've been hesitant to fill out the paperwork because I'm afraid of stigmatism. I'm afraid of starting documentation with him being stigmatized, even if they don't find that he has a problem, just starting the process and it being out there that he, that we have that concern for him. I have so many fears with all the things that I've heard from you and with other, people in the profession, in education, that I don't want to write nothing down about my son having concerns like that. But if he does need it, of course, I don't want to deny him or negligent to
Okay.
even start filling out this type of paperwork if I, in my heart, don't think it's what it needs.
Okay. And he's currently 4 years old?
Yes, he's 4.
Okay. Okay. They believe that he may have a disability that requires special ed support. My first question to you, what disability are you and the others concerned that he may have? Do we think this is speech? Do we think this is autism? Do we think this is intellectual disability? What do we feel he may have?
The first concern was he does not interact, or like if he's asked questions, or even if, just in conversation with the teachers or the other children, he'll show what he wants, but he won't express himself. He won't express what he wants. This is the total opposite of the child I see at home. He has an extensive vocabulary at home. He talks with his sisters. He talks with other family members. The child that I see at school is not the child that I see at home.
Does he?
So my first thing is it's a product of their teaching, not a problem that he's having.
Let me ask you a question. Does he interact with his peers? Will he initiate social play or verbal conversation with other children his age?
Yes.
He does.
Play,
So he interacts. He'll walk.
He'll engage and play with them.
So he'll walk up to other kids and start playing with them.
Yes.
And he'll walk up to other kids. And he'll walk up to other kids and start talking to them as well.
No, that's a no. He
Okay.
will not start talking to them.
He will not start talking, but he will play.
He will play.
And if children, okay, and if children come up to him, and start trying to play, he will engage them as well, correct?
Yes.
Okay, it doesn't sound like autism. Autism children, they do not initiate or receive social play from other children. Now, the fact that he does interact socially and not verbally, someone could probably make the argument that he may still be on the autistic spectrum, but it's not sounding like autism. If a 4-year-old has autism, he ain't playing with nobody. Let me ask you something else. Has he in the past, or does he currently make strange noises? Just weird sounds. Just really weird type of stuff instead of talking.
No, I wouldn't say he makes weird sounds, but I do need to share with you that he is going to have a procedure, have his tonsils and adenoids taken out because he's had 4 ear infections this year.
Well, that might have to do with why he's not talking. That might help explain why he's not initiating social conversation. Because if he got to get his tonsils taken out and his adenoids, and he's had ear infections, that ear, nose, and throat, all that is connected, that might be in pain a little bit or discomfort. And that might, so we have a competing explanation for potential autism.
Okay.
And we always want to rule out competing theories and explanations before we look at any disability. We always want to consider the differential diagnoses before we go to the disability. So you just hit me with a big potential differential diagnosis or explanation for the quote unquote autistic behavior. Let me ask you something else. Does he engage in does he engage in repetitive types of behaviors, such as always needing to eat out with the same fork or spoon, needing to drink out the same cup, needing to wear the same socks, needing to walk around with something in his pocket? Is he attached, overly attached? He doesn't have any. It's not autism. It's not autism. Now, because he's had those ear infections, we need to check his hearing to make sure there's no hearing loss at all. So that's something you want to rule out as well, especially when people talk autism, because I've seen a lot of kids misdiagnosed as autism who purely have a hearing issue or ear infection,
Yeah.
so to speak. Okay, so he might need speech and language, maybe. It could potentially be a hearing situation, maybe. But to be honest with you, until we totally remedy the ear, nose, and throat issues, until we totally remedy the ear infections and the tonsillitis, we can't really be looking at no learning disability. Now, here's what I need you to understand. Let's say it was autism, and I'm 95% sure it's not. But let's say if it was autism, even if you waited an extra year to be certain we were making the right diagnosis, that would not work against your son's best interest. In other words, diagnosing a learning disability early does not change the prognosis. It's not like medical. With medical, you need to catch stuff early because you can eliminate it. But there's no cure for autism.
Right.
So even if a kid is really autistic and you say, well, I'm going to wait and give him another year until he's 5 to see, whether this was just purely developmental. Well, guess what? The kid diagnosed at 4, the kid diagnosed at 5, they're still going to be at the same place once they both become the same age. So diagnosing early with learning disabilities and psychological disorders, it does not change the trajectory. It doesn't help. Medically, it can help because medicine can eliminate a lot of issues. Okay, mental health, you can eliminate autism. So my thing to you is be patient. I would be patient. I would not get them tested for anything except speech right now. And I would give it a year and see what happens. I would give it a year and see what happens.
Okay. So just back right on off the paperwork.
Yeah, I wouldn't sign it. I would tell them I'm going to give my
Yeah.
son some time. I'm going to give my son some time. Because it ain't going to make a difference if he get the diagnosis now or later. And based on what you're telling me, this isn't autism. And remember, with black boys, they're quick to pull the trigger because special ed has become a normal part of black boy culture. Special ed has become a normal part of black boy culture.
That's my fear.
Now, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. Give him time.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's funny how when you express things, it comes a lot clearer as you're talking, So I appreciate your advice.
No problem, love. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there another question on the call this morning?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. Where you calling from, Goddess?
Jacksonville here.
Jacksonville, Florida?
Jackson, Michigan.
Oh, Jackson, Michigan. Shout out to Michigan. I was just in Detroit this past Friday. Go right ahead, sister.
Yes, I was not able to make that for various reasons. However, I have been following your lectures for the past 4 years, because my oldest child is 14 now, and at the time I didn't have the knowledge that you had educated me on the Board of Education with the IEP. So at the time, I did sign a consent to have my child tested, and he has scored a 60%, which that excludes him for special education. He doesn't gravitate to his classroom well, and so I've done all these tests and all these things, and I have not seen any results of it. And once I learned about you and following you in your lecture, I've learned that I kind of labeled my son. So I've been trying to clear up that. However, since he's been labeled, the school constantly kicks him out of school. So now he should be in 9th grade. He is in 7th grade, but he's been kicked out of school since November. And I want to ask you, what do I need to do to help reverse that with my child? Because now he's defiant. So they diagnosed him with ADD, ADHD, and ODD, which I learned from you that ODD, oppositional defiance disorder, there's no cure for that. It's a smart mouth. And ADD, I tried the little medicine. I didn't like the side effects that it gave my child because I'm very pro-organic. So I stopped it because I didn't like the side effects that my child was having. So now I have the school here in Jackson, Michigan, that they labeled my son, even with the superintendent, they kind of just throw him away. So now he's 14, uneducated.
Okay. You said he's been kicked out of school. Has he been officially expelled by the school district?
He was, but they had him trying the state program. But the state program, he got in trouble. So he has to, okay, so let's rewind. Now he's supposed to be in ninth grade. Let's rewind to fifth grade. Fifth grade, he got in trouble running on the playground with scissors. They expelled him. I asked for him to be retained. They denied it, said no. So when he gets to sixth grade, he was acting out because he was expelled all fifth grade year. And I only knew so much of the work that they sent home to help him, but that's not helping him in his classroom setting and the environment for him to grow. So I kind of, I had got a student advocator. However, they all work together, Dr. Umar. They're working together. And it's like my advocate was telling me, oh, well, I suggest medicine. And it's not medicine. He doesn't need the medicine. I believe that he does need a positive black male role model in his life, and he does not have that. So since I don't have that, what do I need to do to help reverse the he's insecure, like he doesn't like to read because he's so far behind. So he scams and acts like he's reading. I made him, while he's been out of school, I have made him read, and for 9 pages that he read, I wanted him to write me at least 9 paragraphs of what he read as a summary, and he writes 1 sentences. So he's still at an elementary mind frame as far as with him being able to express himself or to articulate himself from writing, from thinking to writing. So I don't know, I've been following you, and I see you taught me so much, especially with being a single black parent, to come to the school with another person with me so they would know. Even with my 3-year-old daughter, her teacher wanted me to sign for a outside counselor because my 3-year-old doesn't regroup well. She loves Play-Doh. She's 3. I refused it. I said, I'm not signing that. I said, if that isn't a part of the 8-hour schedule, no, because she's 3. And they said, well, Miss Wright, she doesn't, we have to redirect her often, but she's 3. So I was able to stand up for my daughter then. But with my son, I didn't have the knowledge that I have now to stand up for him and to let the school know that I'm the boss, I'm the parent, I'm not on your team, you're on my team.
So, getting back to your son, and he's in a particular program. So it sounds like he may have been temporarily expelled. Is he a special ed student?
No, he scored too high.
Okay, so he's not special ed. He's regular ed. One thing you might want to, okay, he's in the 7th. He belongs in the 9th. One thing I want you to do is I want you to get in contact with the local community college in your county, because a lot of community colleges have programs for children who are, to some extent, aging out of school. Now, he's not aging out. He's the ninth grade age. He's in the 7th. But because he is a high schooler by age, some community colleges have special programs that allows the children to come to community college. They're not in college yet, but it's special programs that will help them earn their GED and then transition them right into the community college program. So I think you need to contact the community colleges. I think you need to also contact the Central School District's continuing education office and see what they also offer in terms of children who are aging out. Most school districts now, because they don't like to have older children around younger children, most school districts do offer programs that allow children to expedite their education, earn an advanced high school diploma or a GED. And a lot of time these programs are in concert with the local community college. Now, where is his biological father?
His biological father is running around here. He's in and out of prison. He's not. He's not at. He comes in every blue moon when he's not incarcerated, but he's not a positive role model. He's still trying to hang on a street corner, which that was my mistake. I take full responsibility of my choices that I made, but now that I've made the choices and I have these consequences that resulted from my choices, I just want to be able to be the best that I can for my son, because the most feared man is a powerful, black, educated man. And I don't want him to fall into the judicial system, because that's what I feel they're trying to do. Because when he got kicked out of school, again, one of the girls, he's like you said, he's older, so he was with younger children, and he were in their language arts, and they were talking about Moby Dick, and that led, you can just imagine. So they kicked him out for that, and he got in trouble with the judicial system with that, because the school officer tried to grab him up. He's very, very dominant. He has a high testosterone level, because me being a young mother, I kind of am putting him that he was the man of the house. You know, he's the oldest. He has to be a strong man. So he doesn't gravitate well to anyone coming to him aggressively. So he kind of swung on the school officer. So that made the police come. So now he has a court record because of that.
Okay. It sounds like he may have some sort of underlying emotional issue, whether that's related to the fatherlessness, his relationship with you, issues with himself. I think you might want to get him some counseling. And keep in mind, you don't need a diagnosis. We ain't looking for an evaluation. We're looking for counseling. We're not looking for an evaluation. We're looking for counseling. If you want, you can text me, and I will text you the phone number and email address for the Association of Black Psychologists, and you can reach out to them and get a referral for someone in your area who you can take your son to. And again, it may be nothing, and that's fine. But I think 2 or 3 sessions with a qualified mental health practitioner might be good to just kind of piece out if there's anything going on more than what it seems to be. You could also write a letter to the superintendent of the school district requesting that your son be readmitted into the school district at a different school to give him another chance. You could do that. And if the superintendent superintendent is resistant, you could also write to your state rep and your state senator to also have them request of the school board to readmit your son. I'm still not clear on exactly why he was put out of school in the first place. Did he get into a bad fight? What led to him being in this program?
What led him in this program was he got in trouble. He's a follower, doctor.
But what did he do? What was the incident? What was the specifically? What did he do? What was the last incident? Say again.
The last thing that got me talking to him right now that got him out of school was he broke the contract that he agreed to have at school. So they said.
But what did he do? He broke the contract. But what did he do? What did he do? Tell me the behavior. What did he do? You're still too general.
He got into an altercation with another child.
So he got into a fight. So he fought. So he got into a fight.
It was verbal. There wasn't any hand exchange. It was verbal, but he was using vulgarity, and by that being a part of his contract, they kicked him out, and it was the last straw. So I had a meeting with the superintendent, and they're like, "Well, we have to try to find a program for him. We think the state program is good, but he has to wait till after Christmas break." And that was before Thanksgiving.
Okay. I don't think he was expelled. I think he was just simply transferred into a juvenile program, into a discipline program. It don't sound like an expulsion.
Okay.
I think he's still in the school district. They just put him in a regular program. And so what he has to do is decide to change his attitude and his behavior, and he can go back to regular school. It's really up to him. You know, if he gets on the good side and does what he's supposed to do, you could appeal for him to go back to school, and you can have teachers at the placement where he is now write some letters of recommendation that you can take to the superintendent or who's ever in charge of alternative education in the petition for him to go back to regular school. He can go back to regular school. He just got to get his act together. But I definitely think you still might want to get him to counseling. So let me give you my my cell number so you can text me so I can send you that information.
Okay.
It's area code 215-989-9858. Again, 215-989-9858.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr.
No
Umar.
problem.
Have a great one.
You too. Thank you. Is there another question on the call this morning?
Yes.
Yes. Where you calling from, sister?
So I have a question.
Where you calling
I'm
from?
calling from Minnesota.
Minnesota. Go
From
right ahead.
Minnesota.
Yes.
So my question is, it doesn't involve my kid in school or anything. It's more of a
Okay, hold on. I need everybody to mute your phone. I don't know if that background is coming from your phone or not, good sister. But I need everybody to call to mute your phone, please. We were doing good. If everyone could please keep your phones muted. Go right ahead, good sister.
Okay, so I have a 10-year-old daughter, and she's not my husband's biological daughter, but he's raised her since she was about 3 months old because her dad was murdered when she was 3 months. And she's just so defiant with my husband. Like, he's a good husband. Like, my husband is one of a kind. And I just don't know how to, like, he's getting to the point now where I feel like I'm in between the two of them. Because I'm trying to make her listen to her dad, because he is her dad. I'm trying to make her listen to him, but then I'm trying to make him stop being so hard on her. So I don't know, like, I feel like it's kind of destroying my family unit. Because my husband and I, after my oldest daughter, we have 3 kids that we share. And, like, my parents, they don't make it any better because when they get upset with my husband, or when he tries to discipline my oldest daughter, the one that's not biologically his, they say, well, they put stuff in her head, like he ain't your daddy and stuff like that. So I don't know, like, I'm just trying to figure out how to keep my whole family unit together and not to have to choose between my husband and my daughter.
How old is your oldest daughter?
She's 10 now.
She's 10. How old are the 3 younger siblings that are by your husband?
One is, they all 2 years apart, so 8, 6, and 4.
Okay. One thing you're going to have to rule out, because I see this a lot, being a family therapist, one thing you're going to have to rule out is whether or not your daughter perceives that her stepfather treats her 3 other siblings better or differently than her, or whether she perceives, and I'm saying perceive because it might not actually be true, she may also perceive that in some way he excludes her from his dealings with his 3 biological children. So again, it may be a perception. It may not be actual reality, but I think you and your husband also have to look at each other and have a conversation as to whether or not he is, in fact, in some way that you guys have not been conscious of, showing more attention, more love, and more family energy to the younger 3 and not that oldest one. Okay, the other thing too is it may have nothing to do with him. It may have everything to do with you. And what I mean by that, does she feel, because she's not biologically his, that you're not doing enough to include her within the family unit, or maybe she craves one-on-one attention from her mother? Keep in mind, every child needs their one-on-one time with their parents, every child. Now with the other 3, because they are biologically his.
I do that though.
Okay, you do that. Well,
I do that. Like, I'll take her with me to get her nails done, or I'll take her with me to get her hair trimmed and washed and flat ironed or whatever.
And then with the other little girls, I'll take them with me to do something different. So, like, I try to include everybody, but he admittedly treats her a little bit different, and he'll say it's because she don't have no respect for him. Because he'll tell her to go and do dishes, and she'll act like she don't hear him. And then when I say go do dishes, she'll like, oh, okay, Mom.
Okay.
And then he's like, see what I'm saying?
So he does. So he has admitted that he does treat her differently, but it's based on her attitude. Okay. Well, here's the thing. He's the adult, so he got to be the bigger person, because her attitude is not going to get better if he's going to treat her differently because of her attitude. He's not a child, he's an adult, so he has to always practice optimism and healthy energy with that baby, because she's only 10. She's still a baby, and she definitely needs that father figure. All girls need that father figure, you see, but he's shunning her. He's shunning her because of her attitude, so he's creating more of the negative energy. He's generating her negative energy because he's not giving her a fresh start. What he has to do is he has to come from the other angle. And what I mean by that is, even when she's negative, if it was my stepdaughter, I would give her a hug. I would say, listen, I love you. If I've done something wrong, I'm sorry. Can you tell me what I did wrong? Help me be a better father to you, because I love you as much as my 3 daughters. Okay, I love you as much as them. In fact, you are my daughter. You're not my stepdaughter. I've known you since she was 3 weeks or 3 months old. He really needs to give her that father-daughter, I love you talk. I really think that's enough, because she's only 10. Now, if she was 17, 18, that'd be a different monster. But she's still a baby. So he has it within him to really change the situation around. Okay, what happened to my call? I need everybody to mute their phones. Okay, there we go. I don't know what that was. But the other thing, too, it might not be a bad idea to get some family counseling with you, him, and her. It might not be a bad idea to get some family counseling with you, him, and her. And if you're interested in doing that, just send me a text and I'll send you the contact information for the Association of Black Psychologists. But he can fix this. He can fix this. He got to rise above her. He cannot meet her on her level. She's only 10. You can't say, well, because she treats me different, I'm going to treat her different. You cannot do that. You're the man of the house. The black man is the leader of the home. He has to show her a different way. He has to. And you're going to have to let him know that. You're going to have to let him know that. I know what she's doing ain't right, but a lot of this is being motivated by the fact that you are treating her different. So wipe the slate clean. It's a brand new year. It's a brand new year. Start off fresh with her. Give her a hug. Say, listen, it's a new year. Let's get this right. Now, let me ask you a question. When is the last time your husband took her out alone without her 3 siblings? When's the last time she spent quality time alone with her stepdad outside the house? You still there, Queen? Okay, I think we may have lost her. But if he's never spent time with that stepchild, he's going to need to start to. One thing I know about children, although their behavior isn't justified, what I know about children is there's always a reason for their behavior. There's always a reason for the behavior of a child. Let's go to the next caller. Is there another question on the call this morning?
I have yes.
Okay, let me take that first sister, that first queen. Where you calling from?
I'm calling from Morristown, New Jersey.
Morristown, New Jersey. That sounds familiar. Is that near Trenton?
Right outside of, that's right outside of Philadelphia.
Okay, yes. Okay, that's why I know, because I did my pre-doctoral internship in Trenton with Department of Youth and Family Services, DIFAS. But go right ahead, sister.
Yes, I'm calling because my 9-year-old son, he has an IEP. He actually got his IEP when he was in the 1st grade. They gave it to him because he was having trouble with his language and reading skills. And I noticed after 2 years of being in the special education program that he was not improving. I even had a
reading program. I paid for other specialized tutors, and nothing really was working long term. So I took him out of the special education program, and I put him back into general education because I noticed that when I worked with him, he started to improve. And he was excelling, well, he is excelling in math and science with the basic calculations, but his reading and language art skills are still below grade level. And I noticed through my own research that he may be showing signs of having dyslexia. What I'm having a problem with right now is getting his school, the Morristown School District, to test him for dyslexia. They're saying that it's not a learning disability. It's a health, like a mental, it's like a brain thing. So it would have to be diagnosed by a physician or a psychologist outside of school, but they will test him give him the IEP test and give him special education again. But the problem with that is if they don't have specialists who can teach a child with dyslexia, it doesn't matter how much special education or how much tutoring or how much help they try to give him, he's not going to be able to learn because it's a different, they learn differently. So if they don't have a specialist there who can specifically work with him in that learning difference, then there's not going to really be an improvement. And the point in putting him in special education really isn't going to help the situation at all, if that makes any sense. So I'm trying to figure out, I'm in New Jersey, in Morristown, how I can get the school, or if I can get the school to test him for a specific learning difference, dyslexia, and diagnose that, and get a specialist into the school who can help him with that issue.
What grade is your son in?
He's in the 4th grade now.
He's in the 4th grade. Okay, let me give you a couple things that you need to consider. Number one, whenever I'm requested to evaluate a child who's in the 4th grade or younger, I'm very, very concerned about the potential of a misdiagnosis. We need to be very slow to move on an evaluation for a 4th grader or younger because they're still babies. Now, dyslexia is a serious reading disability. That's all it is. Now, there is a neurological based type of dyslexia where the brain is wired in such a way, cognitively, that your son, when he looks at the words, he sees them backwards, or he sees them upside down, or he reverses the letters. It's a neurologically based dyslexia where he has no control over it because it is at the cognitive level. Okay, it's beyond interpretation, and it's at the level of brain function. Now, there's a small chance your son may have that, but I'm willing to bet my last dollar he does not. Okay, I'm willing to bet my last dollar he does not. Now, even if he does, because I'm not disputing your assertion that he has it, but what I do need you to know is that if he gets evaluated for special ed as a 4th grade black boy in New Jersey, he will not get any special treatment. Remember, school districts are not required to provide special ed or regular ed kids with the optimal quality of education. In other words, you just talked about the school bringing in the specialists to work with your son. They're not going to do that, nor are they required to do that by law. No dyslexic kid, no reading disabled kid gets a specialist to come and help the school teach them better. He's going to go into a regular special ed class, and he's going to be around the regular special ed kids. And my question to you is that what you want for your son? Because that's all you're going to get if you put him in special. Exactly. So I don't think that we want to be barking up that special ed tree. What I would do, though, is I would hire a specialist. I would hire a reading specialist, someone with extensive experience in working with dyslexic kids, and you could pay that person to come and work with your son at your home or at their office or wherever, probably about $45 an hour. And he may only need 2 or 3 hours of that a week. And there goes your solution right there. But putting your son in special ed in the 4th grade, I would not do that, especially for a black boy, especially when he's not going to get anything special at all. He will not get anything special. Now, what you got to rule out, You got to rule out vision issues if there's a need for glasses. You got to rule out laziness and lack of motivation on the part of your child. You have to rule out whether or not he's practicing reading enough. Keep in mind, only 15% of children, when learning to read, will master it easily on the first attempt. Only 15% of children learning to read will master it on the first attempt. Okay? At least 50% of kids will struggle learning how to read. Reading may not come easy for your son. It may be something he has to work at. Reading came easy for me as a kid, but math came difficult. I had to work at my math. And if my father wasn't involved, they probably would have put me in special ed for math. I wasn't disabled, okay? I have 6 degrees now, you understand? So it's just that some kids got to work harder at something else, you know? So I think your son just needs more practice and repetition, and it might be a laziness and a motivation issue more than any learning issue. What do you think?
I think you made some very valid points. I need to look at, first of all, I know I don't want him in special education, so I'm glad I spoke with you because I didn't like the direction I was being put into. And I will definitely look into getting some more tutoring. He has been going to tutoring, but I haven't taken him to a specialist who was trained to teach a child that may have a very severe and need really extensive reading. He doesn't like to read. He doesn't.
There you go.
So,
there you
I
go.
know that's because he struggles so much. He's been struggling so much with it, and he just kind of, he lost confidence with it, or what it is. But he's been having a hard time since the first grade.
Get him a tutor. Get him a tutor. Find a college student, retired teacher, or other high school student who does well with reading. And have them work with your son for 1 hour a day, 3 hours a week. That's all they need is 3 hours. And they'll have that boy reading like he's never read before in about 3 months. Get him some one-on-one time. Get someone to come to that house for 1 hour a day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday, however y'all want to do it. And I promise you that boy will be reading terrifically within the next 3 months. He needs somebody who's going to be patient to build his confidence, because what you're telling me is his reading self-esteem is low. His reading self-esteem.
Yes.
Children have a different level of self-esteem for every academic subject. You have a math self-esteem, you have a reading self-esteem, you have a science self-esteem, okay, and his reading self-esteem is low. So we need someone who can build his reading self-esteem as they build his reading skill. So you want to find somebody who's really, really patient, very positive, you know, and who will encourage him to do better.
Okay. All right, well, thank you. I will definitely do that.
No problem, Queen. Thank you. Appreciate it. Is there another question on the call?
Yes.
Okay, let me take
I
that.
called earlier. I was the one that was talking to you about my daughter.
Okay.
I'm at work, and my call dropped just as I was talking to you.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
is there a different time that I can call and talk? There's my radio here. I'm at work. Is there a different time that I can call and talk to you?
Yes, ma'am. One thing you can do is I charge $50 for private consultation. I'm going to give you my cell. If you text me, I'll send you my PayPal link. You can pay the $50 for the consultation, and I'll call you, and we can talk as long as we want.
Okay.
All right? Do you have my cell?
I heard you did it earlier, but I didn't. I
Okay,
didn't write
it's
it.
215
I know it's 215.
989 9858. 215 989 9858.
Okay. I will be calling you back. And thank you so much. And I'm sorry I dropped the call earlier.
That's okay. No problem, sister. Be blessed.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Where you calling from?
Detroit, Michigan.
Detroit. Go right ahead.
I'm actually calling to get the information on how to volunteer and be a part of the support system. I have 2 adult sons, so I just want to volunteer.
Got you. Okay. Well, Sister Julie is the president of the Detroit chapter of the National Independent Black Parent Association. And what I can do is I'm going to give you a phone number where you can call her and let her know you would like to join the chapter. She's also going to be coming to San Diego for the 3rd West Regional National Invitation Leadership Training Conference, and you're invited to come as well. Friday and Saturday, January 27th and 28th, if you like to come to get that training, which will only...
Where's that located?
It'll be at the Black-owned World Beat Cultural Center in San Diego, California. If you go to princeofpanafricanism.eventbrite.com, princeofpanafricanism.eventbrite.com, the information is all there for that. But let me give you the number you can reach her at, and that is 313 246 0787, 313 246 0787.
And what is her name?
Julie, Julie.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you, sister. Is there another question on the call this morning?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, let me go with the first sister and then the second sister. I'll take you right after. For the first queen, where are you calling from?
Yes, this is Ayana from Queens.
Queens, New York. Go right ahead. I'll be in Brooklyn on January the 12th. Go right ahead.
So one of the parents that I'm currently working with, she has a 14-year-old daughter who is constantly getting arrested, engaging in severe promiscuous behavior, starting fights. And the reason why I called today is because she told me she can't deal with her anymore, and she wants to send her away. And I don't necessarily know how to help her. The mother is on the verge of an emotional breakdown because she doesn't know how to deal with her child. And I don't necessarily know what advice to give her to help the situation.
Okay. Whenever I hear about a teenage girl who's engaging in sexually reckless and promiscuous behavior, first thought automatically comes to my mind is, has she been sexually abused? Has this girl been molested or touched? Is she a victim of pedophilia? In any way, shape, or form, do we know? Do we know this?
I don't know.
Okay, well, we need to find that out. We need to find that out. Second thing, a lot of black women have terrible relationships with their mothers. A lot of black mothers have terrible relationships with their daughters. That's what this sounds like. What we need to find out, what is going on in that home, what went on in that home that triggered this type of behavior from that child. That child is not just acting like this because she wants to act like this. There's always a reason for child misbehavior. What is going on? Do you have any idea of what's going on in that house?
Well, from what she tells me, her father has never really been involved in her life. I think he also has about 8 children. But also speaking with the mother, I noticed I'm not judging, but she tells me that she has girlfriends and boyfriends and she lets them stay in her house. And she parties and drinks a lot.
The mother,
I personally, I didn't say this to her. Yeah, the mother. So I didn't say this to her, but I'm assuming that the daughter is acting this way because the mother is engaging in this behavior herself, and her father is not really involved in her life. But I don't know how to say that to the mother without her being offended. So I'm just trying to figure out the best way because she's about to send her daughter away because she doesn't want to deal with her anymore.
Well,
and I think that's going to make the situation even worse.
It is. If she sends that child away under this type of circumstance, her daughter will never be bothered with her again in life. Maybe she's okay with that. But if she sends that child away after having neglected her as long as she has, because see, here's my thing. the mother opens up the house for other people to come and stay. Okay, men, and first of all, you got female children. You can't be using your house as a motel for men when you got female children. So I'm really suspicious as to whether or not this baby been touched. Okay, because the mother got men and women coming, she's taking care of everybody else, but it don't sound like she's taking care of her own children. You see, I think that baby been touched. I think that baby been touched. And even if that baby hasn't been touched, I'm pretty certain that that mother is guilty of putting other people before her children. So if she sends that child away under these circumstances, she going to lose her baby for good. She going to lose her baby for good. And see, this is sad. And this is why I tell, people not to get off subject with your question, but this is why I want my school ultimately to be a residential academy, because a lot of our children don't have families. Okay, they go to a house, but they don't go to a home. You see, our children are crying out for a real family system because a lot of them don't have that. If the mom has made up her mind that she's going to get rid of her kid, there's nothing we can do. If the mom has made up her mind that she's going to get rid of her kid, there's nothing we can do. However, I would like to see some family therapy. I would like to see mom and daughter go together to meet with a counselor. I think that's where you can really help and say, wait a minute, there's another way. Why don't you guys go to counseling, get somebody to talk to you both, so both of you can express the way the other has made you feel, and then we can get to the bottom of this situation and begin to work through the relationship issues. I would like to see them work through the relationship, because right now they're at a point where their relationship can be damaged irreparably. Their relationship can be irreparably damaged if these next couple months are not handled appropriately. So if you like, you could shoot me a text and I'll send you the contact information for the Association of Black Psychologists. And keep in mind, it doesn't have to be a black psychologist. It could be a therapist. It could be a marriage and family counselor. It could be a social worker. It could be a licensed professional counselor. It's just that the psychologists, traditionally, we have the most training when it comes to dealing with this type of stuff. But it could be any of the other professionals as well.
Okay,
all right?
I'll definitely do that.
Okay, do you have my number, sister?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Yeah, so just shoot me a text and I'll send you. And where are they? Where do they live again? I'm sorry.
They're out here in Queens too.
They're out there in Queens too. Let me say this, and I hope I'm not overcommitting myself, but I'm gonna be in Brooklyn on the 12th. I'm in Brooklyn on the 12th to speak for Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad's birthday celebration. I'll probably get into New York the day before, on the 11th, 111. If you get in contact with me, and I guess, let me look at my calendar, because I think that's next week, isn't it? Let me see. Yes, that's next week.
Thursday.
That's next Thursday. Okay, so tomorrow is Wednesday. Okay, so next Wednesday, a week from tomorrow, I want you to text me and remind me I'm the one who called about the mom and daughter who got serious relationship issues from Queens. Are you able to meet with them? And if schedule allows. Okay, now I still want you to reach out to the black psychologists in the meantime, because they're going to need a regular therapist to work with them. But on top of you getting the regular therapist, because we're still going to do that, but on top of you doing that, I would like to meet with them myself to see what's going on. I'm pretty good in that area. So Wednesday, text me and see if I can get on out there to Queens to meet with them on either Wednesday, the day before my lecture, or Friday, the day after my lecture.
Okay.
All right?
I'll definitely do that.
No problem, sweetheart.
Thank you.
Thank you, love. All right now. Is there another question on the call? Yes. Yes, ma'am. Where you calling from?
I'm calling from Harlem, New York.
Harlem World. Talk to me.
Yes, Harlem World. I also be in Brooklyn too. I have an issue similar to the last quarter, but not as much. I have 2 teenage daughters, 1 teenage son. But my main son is my son. But I also want to say you could be a mother, do everything like myself, do everything you're supposed to do, and sometimes the teenagers rebel. And they get with the wrong, hang out with the wrong company, and they rebel against the parent. Now, with my issue with my daughter, I sent her away to a cooperative homeschooling, and she's doing much better down south. I had to take her from up here, send her down south. So, but now she's back up here for the holidays. She's starting to, like, skip curfew and letting her hang out, and that's a no-no in my house. So when you have, when you're on top of your kids, sometimes they know how to psychologically know how to manipulate the system, which they also know the system to play against you and your rules. So they get away with a lot here. But my main concern right now is my son, who's 16 years old. And he was in the school since he got left back in the 6th grade. He had a graduation, got a certificate from the city council. He graduated 5th grade. But guess what? They left him back because he failed the state test, right? And I heard that they wasn't supposed to do that. So now when he gets to the 8th grade, he goes to school on Wall Street, and they start suspending him like for any little thing. So what I did is, and I pulled him out to homeschooling. Once I homeschooled him, and we relocated to Harlem, there was an angry family member who called ACS and said my son wasn't going to school. But I was being homeschooled. I put in the paperwork and everything. And ACS tried to take me to court for education and neglect. But being that I'm an advocate and I've been fighting the system for a lot of years, I can kind of expect them to target me. So now, after that, I put him in regular school. Now, here's the thing. When I went to school, I wanted him to be put in the right grade. I got him back on track between 9th and 10th grade. When I went to school, they wouldn't put him in the 9th grade. They said they would have to put him in the 8th grade with the younger children. So I go to the Board of Ed, and I go to 2 superintendents, and they would not help me. So he ended up being in the 8th grade earlier this year, although he's supposed to be in the 9th grade. He's 16 years old. Once I put him back in school, he gets jumped by gang members. 8 of them get hit in the head in front of the principal. And this is happening in Midtown, Manhattan. I didn't expect that. I didn't think that could happen in that neighborhood. So now he hasn't been the same since. So now he's involved in good activity. You know what I mean? So I try to get him in Job Corps, which he started. I had a hard time with that, being that he's a black male. We have hard times, I'm telling you, trying to get these children in the program, even with other races, the competition. I'm just going to put that out there. So now he's doing marijuana, and I did a toxicology report. They said he has marijuana. Now he's being a little rebellious. So now I don't know what to do, because I've called a lot of agencies to see if he could get help, psychological treatment and drug treatment. He was put in the program for the marijuana, and then because they say it's voluntary, he can even go and come and he's choose. And he's only 16, so I can't make him do that. I also went to court. He had a criminal case in concert with taking a phone with somebody. So I asked the judge if they could, if he can make it, put in paper that my son go to some type of residential treatment where he can get education and get therapy at the same time. The judge wouldn't do it. So I'm trying to figure out what's the next step with this kid, because he still do what he wants to do. And when you try to get the system involved, it could play against you. When you talk to NYPD, they have their little program. They say, well, there's no help out here for the children, but when you call NYPD, you put your child at risk if they need help, or if you call for the psychiatric treatment, you still put your child or anyone at risk. parenthood or the situation to escalate to something that shouldn't be. So what do we as mothers or myself do in those cases?
Okay. How old is your son again?
16.
Okay, he's 16. Where's the biological father?
His father's around.
He's around. Is he involved in his life?
He's involved in his life, but here's the thing. I'm the one who do mainly the running around going to school. His father does work during the day, but it's like when it comes to anything else, that's about it.
Okay.
His father talks to him. Everybody talks to him. I mean, he's one of the leaders in one of the black organizations, and now he like just crashed.
How long has this behavior been going on?
I would say for the last year, a little over a year.
A little over a year. And what occurred in your son's life that triggered this behavior? Was there anything that happened within the past 2 years that may help explain why he's on the deep edge?
I'm trying to say what can happen. I know I relocated. I don't know if he got...
You relocated when? How long ago did you relocate? How long ago did you relocate?
About 2 years ago.
And you relocated from where to where? From another state, another part of the city? Where did you relocate from?
No, from one borough to the next.
What was the previous borough?
Brooklyn.
So you moved from Brooklyn to Manhattan.
Right.
Okay. Did he agree with that move? Not that your move needed his approval, but I'm just wondering, did he agree with that move?
He was all right with it.
Okay. Okay.
When we was in Brooklyn, he was homeschooled. When we got here, because there were some issues with the family.
He was homeschooled. He was homeschooled for how long? He was homeschooled for how long?
He's homeschooled for a year.
And why did you homeschool him for the year?
Because of the issue he had in school with 8th grade. When he was going to school on Wall Street, he kept being suspended for frivolous reasons. And when he would go to the suspension site, the staff there would say, you know, these kids are being suspended and they shouldn't be suspended. So I said, well, maybe it's better that I homeschool him.
Okay. Oh, it sounds like there's been too many changes. Not a lot, but enough to kind of send him on a little bit of a frenzy. I mean, we moved from one borough to the next. He went from homeschool back to regular school. There's a lot of bouncing around when it comes to his academic career, which might help explain his maladjustment, because we keep on upsetting the academic context for the young man. So we need to decide what we're going to do. What grade is he in now?
He's in no grade now. He's not even going to school.
How long has he not been going to school?
So right now I'm trying to get him into home instructional school because he had broke out with this infection on his face. So I'm trying to get him to home instructional school.
Wait, time out. You trying to get him a home instructional school because he got a rash on his face?
Right.
Okay, I'm not understanding that.
He was hospitalized.
Okay, he's hospitalized because of a rash on his face.
Right. It's an infection it's a bad infection. He was hospitalized for 7 days. But what I'm saying is that I wanted him to get home instruction in school because so the Board of Ed could come here.
Okay, but
now
But wait. I'm not clear on something. Why does he need home instruction? Because he got a rash.
Oh, because the rash, scarred his face up.
The rash
When
scarred.
he started the rash, or whatever it was, they claim it was, he was unrecognizable.
He was unrecognizable.
So now has to clean it up.
Okay, how long is it going to take?
Wherever he goes, they don't.
How long is it going to take his rash to clear up?
I would say about a couple of months.
It's going to take a couple of months for the rash to clear up.
Correct.
Oh. Okay. Again, so we're about to. Okay. So we're about to switch up the setting again. And now we're going to put him back on homeschool. This is what I think. I think. Please put your phone on mute. Put your phone on mute. Everybody put your phone on mute. You stay on, sister.
That's not me.
I know it's not you. Okay, this is what I think.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Everybody put your phone on mute. Somebody just called and you got your phone on speaker. You cannot have your phone on speaker. You're going to mess up the call. Please. Please. Okay. What I think is you need to contact the school district. And you need to get him a high school office of high school programs. You need to get your son enrolled in an advanced program that allows him to earn his GED or a high school diploma in an alternative way. I know New York City has them. They have different programs. They have different programs with the colleges, different programs with the school district, where your son might have to enroll in a program where they might maybe meet 2 or 3 times a week, a certain amount of hours, and they will fast forward him to his high school diploma or his GED. That's what he needs. Because we keep on moving him around, homeschool, back to school, now home instruction. Just put him in a program so he can hurry up and finish because he's almost there anyway. So I would contact the school district, find out what they have.
What about the drugs? What about the heavy drugs of marijuana? And
Okay, now as far as the drugs
I
go,
don't know if he's going to be responsible enough to get to school on his own. That's why I'm talking about residential. And the area he lives in, you know how the hood is. It's certain parts of the project where the kids are under a lot of pressure with gangs and all that stuff. So that's why I wanted him to go away for residential treatment.
right. Well, here's the thing. He may not go to residential treatment because of his age. He's 16. He's almost a grown man. He might not want to do residential treatment, and no one's going to be able to make him because he hasn't broken any laws. You see, so that's another issue. Please mute your phone. Who just called in with the speakerphone? Put your phone off speaker. You cannot have speaker. You're messing my call up. Come on. Jeez. Don't call in if you're going to mess the call up. But I don't think he's going to do residential, and I don't even know if any residential wants to take a 16-year-old. You understand? And you need to be careful because places like Job Corps, I know kids who got killed while they were away residentially at Job Corps. They get killed. It'd be gangs at Job Corps and all that. So, you know, me personally, I think he needs an advance.
You know, he told me that. He told me something like that. He heard that Job Corps and stuff like that. So I thought he was just saying that to get out of it.
Okay, listen.
Okay.
Contact the school district. Get him in an advanced program. I know you say he may not go, but you have to try. We didn't try everything else. We have to try. Get him in the program. He may go because he won't have to go to regular school, and he'll get his high school diploma a whole lot quicker under different circumstances. He might actually like that. I mean, you said he was a student leader, so that tells me he still cares about himself. Okay, he's a student leader, so that tells me he does have some drive and ambition about his life. So something went wrong. Something went wrong. I don't know if it's the relationship with you, the father. Something went wrong, and now he's self-medicating with marijuana. Something's going on. So what I also want you to do, Queen, is text me, and I'll text you the contact for the Association of Black Psychologists so you can get him some counseling. He needs to talk to somebody because there's something going on in his life, and we haven't figured it out yet.
Okay, and how do I get the information from the black psychologist?
I'm going to give you my cell phone number. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
215 989 9858. 215 989
9899.
9858.
All right.
Okay, sweetheart. Get in touch with me.
Thank you.
No problem.
All right.
All right. Also, it might be a good idea to bring him to my Brooklyn lecture if you can. Since he's a leader, you said he was a leader in one of the black organizations. Bring him to my Brooklyn event. I would like to meet the young man. Maybe he can work with me as we put on this first International Black Consciousness Conference, which is likely to be held in New York City. He can help me out. So I'm going to give him something to do, and I'm going to make sure he get his ass back in school if he's going to be working with me, because I don't play dropout. All right? So try to get him to the Brooklyn. Okay? Try to get him there. I'm serious.
Pastor of the Christian Center, was his pastor at one time, so you know it.
Say that again.
The pastor at the Brooklyn Christian Center was his pastor, so he knows it.
Oh, and I know him well. Oh, you talking about Reverend Dillon?
Yes.
Yes, I know Reverend Dillon well. I know Reverend Dillon very, very well. So in that case, you know, we have a connection. So I really hope he comes out. Now, just to let you know, the event has been moved. It won't be at the Brooklyn Christian Center because of the response was so strong that they're moving the Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad Earth Day Power Lecture that I'm going to give. And it's now going to be at 415 Atlantic Avenue. 415 Atlantic Avenue. Next Thursday, January the 12th, 415 Atlantic Avenue. Okay, doors are going to open up at 4, and the program is going to start at 6, 415 Atlantic Avenue. But bring him on out. Make sure I meet him, and I'll take him under my wing.
Okay, good. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem. No problem, sis.
Bye.
Is there another question on the call?
Peace.
Peace, sister. Where you calling from?
Hello?
Yes. Where are you calling from?
I'm just calling to say good morning, and I watch all your lives because it's really uplifting.
Oh, thank you, sister. Where you calling from?
I'm calling from Albany, Georgia.
Albany, Georgia. One love, one love. Thank you for the love, sister. Thank you for the love.
Excuse me?
No, thank you for the love.
You are truly rising.
All right. Thank you. Do we have another question? Do we have a question on the call?
Great rising.
Great rising, sister. Where you calling from?
I'm calling from Los Angeles, California.
Los Angeles, California. I will be there Saturday. I hope to see you at the Ward AME Church this coming Saturday for Dr. Umar's return.
Yes, sir.
All
I've
right.
got my ticket.
And please spread the word, share the flyer.
Absolutely.
Go right ahead.
I will, absolutely. And I've been doing that already. So we'll see what happens. I'm calling because I have a situation with my daughter. She's only 4. And last year, February, me and her father, I don't like to say baby daddy, I'd rather say my procreator. He and I, we have been at odds for quite some time. And I never thought I'd be that woman to not want my child to be around her father. Mm-hmm. I've advocated for fathers who wanted to see their children when the mothers wouldn't let them.
Yes.
I've written a letter to the judge on behalf of us about that. So I'm not that type of woman that wants to be vindictive or anything like that. I feel my daughter's safety is at risk with him. He told her when she was only 3 years old that he didn't want her. So it took her 3 days to tell me what he said because she didn't want to tell on me, but because she knew it wasn't right, you know. But when I confronted him about it, he denied it, and I was like, "There's no way." She's
3. She don't know how to make up a lie like that. You know what I mean? She told me, these are almost her words verbatim. It was a year ago, so I can barely remember. She told me, Mommy, she said, you said yes, and Daddy said no, and my dad and Daddy's mad at Mommy, and my daddy don't like me. I was like, what? I said, wow. Because what we've been fighting over is when I had gotten pregnant, she was like, I don't want anything to do with it and all that. And I was like, well, I don't believe in abortion. So I take responsibility for my part, and, not making sure that this is the guy I wanted to be with because he was a Pan-Africanism, not Pan-Africanism, but he was a Marcus Garveyite and so-called, that's what he was talking, but to me, he was turned out to be a fraud, and I'm against the eugenics movement, and I'm an Alpha 21 movement. I'm against that. So, I never thought I would be in a situation. I would be, someone who waited to have a baby with me. But, so we've been talking over the years about it. And so, I felt like, God, I didn't want to have a child whose father didn't want to be a part of it. So he kind of started coming around and his mom, and we've been knowing each other for over 20 years, so it really threw me for a loop to be treated like we met each other in the club 2 weeks prior. So our families know each other. One of his cousins, my cousins are best friends. My mother and his mother worked together 20 years ago. We went to high school together. So it was just like, it just threw me. It just shocked me. So, and it was too late. It was after the fact. He never told me anything about not wanting kids before. He was a single father, a single father to his son, living with him. So I didn't think, I was blindsided, needless to say. But I fear that he'll do something else to her since he would tell a 3-year-old something like that. So ever since then, I have not let him go around, and it hurts me. I'm torn because now she cries for him. Because, kids forget, or they want to overlook or whatever, because that's her father. And I don't know what to do. And he's been calling me and asking me to see her and stuff like that, and I'm just like, I don't trust you. Why would you tell a 3-year-old that? She can't make that up, and I never told her anything about that.
Okay.
But I just don't know what to do. I'm just torn. I'm torn.
How old is the child? How old is the child? How old is the child?
Excuse me?
How old is
She's 4.
She's 4 years old. Okay, well, first of all, did I hear you say that he told her he don't want her? Did I hear that?
Yes.
Okay. I do not believe that there's ever a situation where a parent should not be allowed to see their child except if there's physical, sexual, or verbal abuse. I don't know why he would tell a 4-year-old he don't want her. First of all, we got to make sure that that's the truth, because children say stuff to manipulate parents. So you have to make sure that he told her that, because she could be saying that because she's not comfortable going over there with him. You understand? But I think a child still needs, yes, she will say that. If that's what she needs to say so you don't send her no more, she will say that. Children are very intelligent even at 4. So we have to, because she know the two of you ain't communicating. She know that if I tell my mom that my dad said he don't want me, I ain't got to worry about going with him no more. And even though she might not enjoy his company all the time, she still needs to be around her dad. Children need it. They need it, even though they don't know it. They need that masculine and feminine energy from each parent. I'm also wondering, maybe you and the father, y'all might got to get some counseling together, parent counseling, to potentially work through y'all issues so the two of you can work together for the baby. Because she's too young. She shouldn't even be privy to this type of, situation that's going on. So I'm hoping the two of you guys can. Yeah, I think you should. I think you should. And if you need to, in fact, I'll give you the information now for the Association of Black Psychologists, because I think it'd be good. It'd be good if you two guys can get over whatever you've been through, so you can focus on her, whether they're going to be together, not be together. But she needs you guys to be on the same team. She's too young to be in the middle of that type of a situation. That won't be good for her at all.
Right.
Okay. The phone number
Sure.
for the Association of Black Psychologists is 301 449 3082. 301 449 3082. And the email address, let me give out the email address. It's 301 449 3082. And the email address is info at ABPSI. Again, that's info at A for association, B for black, P for psychology, S for strong, I for individual. Info at abpsi.org. And you call them and tell them you're looking for a therapist who can work with you and your daughter's father, because your personal issues are interfering with your parental responsibilities to work together.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
No problem.
And I appreciate all you do. Have a
Thank
blessed
you,
day.
Queen. You do the same. See, and before I go to the next caller, let me say this. About a year ago, when I said that I didn't have a problem with sisters informing me or any other brother that they were interested in marriage and to send a resume. See, I don't have a problem with a woman sending a man a resume so he can make a decision as to whether or not she could be a potential mate for him. Because for me, marriage is serious business. It's serious business, especially for me and everything that I'm trying to do for the people before my ancestors get me up out of here. Okay, so I don't have a problem with a sister sending me a resume. I think that's a much more informed way of learning about a person than simply dating a stranger for years only to find out later that, they were not who you thought they were. You didn't know about their background. So marriage is a business. Just like you want to know about your business partner, you should know about your marriage partner. So I don't have a problem with a sister sending me a resume. I'm available. I'm serious. I'm ready to get married. This is what I bring to the table. This is my work experience, yada, yada, yada. I have no problem with that. I have no problem with that, because being in the public eye, you come across so many women, you ain't got time to be screening every female you meet. You ain't got time for that. So if the woman comes to the table and already gives you up front what she's working with, who she is, what she done been through, good, bad, or indifferent, personally, I appreciate that. That makes the search process a whole lot easier for me. Now, I know y'all don't think that's a romantic way to do it. Damn the romance. It's business. Nation building time. Okay, we got T-Rump. We got the Trumpster coming in. Black folks is in trouble. Obama put you to sleep. Donald Duck is going to wake your ass up. So we need to get serious. We need to build some strong black families. We need some strong black families where the king and the queen are going to be on the same page, whether it's monogamous, polygamous, whatever it is. We need strong black families so we can do some strong black work. Imagine if we had, groups of families working together. 10 families are forming a unit. And those 10 families, husband, wife, couple, are going to put their money together and they're going to build an institution. Look at that. What if we grouped up married couples by groups of 10. These 10 families working on a community center. These 10 families working on a community clinic. These 10 families working on a school. These 10 families working on a convenience store. These 10 families working on a supermarket. These 10 families working on a manufacturing sector. We need that. We need that. And if they're married and happily married and they're healthy, okay, we know we're going to have healthy institutions. You need healthy families in order to have healthy institutions. Okay? Well, if a man and a woman can get along with each other, then they can get along with other people. If a man and a woman can get along with each other, then they can get along with other people. So, yes. You feel me? Queens, send a resume. All right. Do I have another question on the call?
Peace. Good morning. I have a question.
Peace, Queen. Where you calling from?
I'm originally from Reading, Virginia. I live in Miami Beach.
Miami Beach. Go right ahead.
Yes. And when are you coming back to Miami?
Miami, I think I'm going to make it to Miami in February. I think I'm going to make it to Miami in February.
I look forward to seeing you. Okay, so my question is, my son, okay, you're very well familiar with the school program. So I was tested for gifted in elementary school. Now my son is being selected for gifted. Unfortunately, which is a good thing, I think, but unfortunately, we go to a mostly European elementary school where the parents have paid $500 to psychologists to deem their children gifted. So if and when they test him and he's deemed quote unquote gifted, I fear he won't be challenged because of the other parents telling me, "Whoa, your child is super smart. My child is nowhere near him, and my child is being taught in the gifted classes." Do you recommend that I allow him to go into the gifted classes and not really be as challenged because even the school telling me that it's very far between that the teachers recommend, it's mostly the individual psychologists, parents getting their children being gifted, or should I keep him in a regular class where I know that he's, let's just say, I know that he's at the level, I know that he's getting taught at whatever grade level he's at, and then, he's excelling in that part. So what do you recommend?
Okay. If you don't believe that the mentally gifted program is going to benefit your son, he should not go to it. However, I do want the young man to have the label. I do want him to have the label because the label will benefit him. It is a privilege. It will always work to his advantage, whether it's camp, whether it's college, whether it's after school program. Being an African-American mentally gifted male will benefit your son. So we want the label. So if he has not yet been evaluated, let him get evaluated so you can get that label. You can use that on his paperwork. But if you don't want the program, you don't need the program. You don't have to accept the program to accept the label.
Okay.
Get the label,
Perfect.
leave the program alone.
Okay, perfect. All right, I appreciate it. I mean, even if it's not for the school, there's actual gifted school in the museum that I might think about sending him to. But you're right, at least get the test done. And if I don't see that the classes are worth, changing him for, you're right, I'll just keep him in the regular class.
Gotcha.
Only because the teachers themselves and the parents themselves have said how way more gifted my child is compared to the kids that they've entered just, I guess, for the label. I guess you're right. They pay this money for a psychologist to have them deem their children gifted, but they can't really pass the regular math homework that is given out in first grade. So, all right, I appreciate it. I'll see you in February, hopefully.
Yes, ma'am. All right, love. Thank you. Is there another question on the call this morning?
Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Where you calling from, sister?
I'm calling from Virginia.
What part?
I have an 8-year-old son, and he's in special education. And 2 weeks prior to this vacation break, I had went to his school and dropped Pastor to see how he was doing, and I was speaking to the teacher about sending extra work home over the break and other things going on like other concerns I had about, his academic grades, or not grades, but what's going on with him. So I have a meeting set up this Thursday with her to discuss that. So anyway, while I was there, she had asked me if my son asked about death a lot. And I said, sometimes he asks me questions. And she said, well, he asked me a lot of questions about death, and I usually don't try to answer those questions. Well, over the break, my son tells me that they've been discussing death in class, and so he knows how Elvis Presley died, that he was in the bathroom, he was taking sleeping pills. He knows about one of the Beatles getting shot. He knows about Michael Jackson. And she also told him that Michael Jackson, he had white kids and that he wanted to be white. So he's learning that stuff at school from the teachers. I don't know what they're trying to do, but now it seems like he's obsessed with death. And so I had this meeting coming up on Thursday to discuss something else with her, but now I have to discuss this, and I don't know how to handle this because I'm really upset about this whole situation. And I've been going through things with the school district for over 2 years. And I'm afraid that I might slap this woman.
Okay, first of all, I need you not to slap that teacher. Because if you slap that teacher, you're going to be charged with a felony, and we don't need you being handcuffed and arrested. And if you get a restraining order, that's going to keep you from ever going to that school again. No one is going to advocate for those children as well as you can. What I need you to do is take a couple people with you.
I'm not going to slap her. That's why I said I know if I go to the school, I will slap her. So I don't want to slap her. So I don't want to go to the school. So I'm asking, what else should I do?
Well, firstly, I want you to take some people with you to the meeting. I don't want you going to the meeting by yourself.
Wait. Somebody just broke in and said black people. Is somebody else talking?
Nah. Stay focused. It's me and you. I want you to go to the meeting with someone else. Don't go alone. Take some people with you. I don't want black mothers or fathers, any black person, going to the school meeting for the child alone. Take somebody with you. You have somebody you can take with you?
Yeah.
Okay, make sure you do that so you can protect yourself. So that's number one. Number two, okay, he's in 8th grade. What is the specific issue you're having with him?
He's in 2nd grade.
Oh, he's a baby.
8 years old.
I'm sorry. He's 8. I thought you said 8th grade. 8 years old, 2nd grade. And give me this again. What's the main issue you're having with him in 2nd grade right now? What's the main issue?
Because I want to, they diagnosed him as having intellectual disability, and I don't believe that he has it. So I want
Whoa. Time out.
From special education.
Okay. They diagnosed.
But now that this issue.
Hold on. Stay with me, love. They diagnosed him with intellectual disability, correct?
Correct.
I need to see that. He's too young to be diagnosed with retardation. I need to see the evaluation. How long ago was the eval done?
I faxed the evaluation to you a few weeks ago, but I know you've been, traveling the country stuff.
All right, this is what I need you to do. You sent it to me already?
Yeah.
You faxed it or you emailed it?
I faxed it.
Okay, so I need you to text me and say, I'm the parent who called today about the 2nd grader diagnosed with intellectual disability. I faxed you his report from a number that begins with this area code. Give me the 3 digits of the area code so I can pull up the fax, and then I will call you so we can discuss the fax. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Make sure you do that because I'm pretty sure that was a misdiagnosis. And how long ago was that done? That eval?
3 years ago.
3 years ago. So that means he was diagnosed. If he's 8, That means he was diagnosed with intellectual disability at 5?
Yes.
Oh, God. Woo. Okay. We're going to go over that. Now, your issue with the school is what, though? So we already got an issue with the misdiagnosis. Was that your issue, the misdiagnosis, or was it something else?
The misdiagnosis, but now also this, because I don't know where this teacher, why did my son need to know about Elvis Presley and how he died in the bathroom because he was taking drugs? I don't understand why my son needs to know. He doesn't need to know that.
The teacher told him this?
He from home. He got it from school because I don't talk about that stuff.
Did he get it from the teacher? Who said this stuff?
He told me that that's what the teacher told him.
Okay.
His teacher
So,
and the teacher's assistant in the classroom.
So, you need to write a letter to the principal requesting a meeting with the principal, the teacher, and the assistant to discuss the content that is being used, the content of instruction and conversations that are taking place in the classroom that you deem to be inappropriate. Carbon copy the superintendent on your letter of request. Remember, you always deal with the school in writing. So, letter to the principal. I want a meeting with you, the teacher, and the assistant. Carbon copy the superintendent. Because I have serious concerns about the content of instruction and the content of the conversation that is being discussed. You might not want to tell them what was said. You might not want to mention in your letter the Elvis Presley, Michael Jackson stuff, and you might want to catch them off guard. Remember, we're dealing with the art of war. We need strategy. If it were me, sometimes you do put it in the letter. It's up to you. But on this one, if it were me, I wouldn't tell them what I want to talk about. I would just tell them the content of instruction and the content of the conversations in the classroom that I think may be appropriate. They're going to try to find out beforehand. Don't tell them. And then when you get to the meeting, drop the bomb and see how they respond.
Okay.
Okay. Now.
And how can I help my son? Because that's all he wants to, talk about now is death. It's like he's infatuated with it.
Okay, then you're going to talk about life. The only reason why he's talking about death is because that's all he's hearing about in school. So you're going to talk about life. Remember, as a child is taught, so is his thoughts. As a child is taught, so is his thoughts. They want to talk about death, you're going to talk about life. Every time he come home, we're going to talk about life. We're going to talk about, positivity. We're going to talk about, black ancestors and heroes and good things going on and that type of thing. Keep it positive. All you have to do is give him the opposite. Remember, whatever the child hears the most is what the child will ultimately focus on. The only reason why he's talking about death is because that's what he's hearing about in school. And that's a very serious issue. I agree with you. It's a very serious issue. So you're going to come the other side and talk about nothing but life. That's how you deal with that. Drown it out. You got to drown it out until you get to that school and tell them that you don't want to hear about none of that no more before you go to the media and let the media know that, you got a school where the teachers are telling the kids about death.
Okay.
Okay. But don't forget, I would say, text me. I want you to text me. Today is Tuesday. I want you to text me. Text me around 8 o'clock tonight. Text me around 8 o'clock tonight with regard to the intellectual disability evaluation. I text me around 8. And if I'm not free at 8, I'll be back in Philly. If I'm not free by 8, we'll do it like 10 or we'll do it first thing in the morning. But text me around 8 so we can choose that.
Okay.
All right?
Yes, I just have one more quick question.
Sure.
For that Black college tour, will you be taking the kids to Meharry Medical College and Fisk University?
Meharry is black, right?
In Nashville.
Meharry is black, correct?
Yeah, and so is Fisk.
Yes, definitely Fisk. So, yeah, we're going to add Meharry on there. I'm glad you told me that. I forgot about Meharry. So, yes, we're going to add Meharry Medical College to the second annual Black College and Consciousness Tour itinerary. Yes, we will.
Okay, because Fisk University is across the street from Harry, and that's a black school too.
Oh yeah, well Fisk is already on the list. Fisk is already on the list.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right, that's all I wanted to ask.
All right, sweetheart. We're gonna take care of that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Before I go to the next call, black men, all the brothers out there, if you're not married, it's time to get married. It's time for black men to get married. Give yourself a 2-year window. Okay, get married. I want as many of you guys to get married as possible by the time FDMG opens up on August the 21st, 2018. Get married, fellas, okay? We're going to make black love fashionable again. I didn't say go marry any black woman you find, because you got sisters with some serious issues. I know that. But you got, most sisters ain't got no serious issues, okay? And sisters, you need to get married, and be careful too, because you got some brothers with some issues. But we want you to get married to a brother who ain't got a whole bunch of issues, all right? Let's go to the next call. Who has a question? Where you calling from?
This is Carolyn calling from Philly.
Hey, Sister Carolyn, how you doing this, sis?
I'm good. I just want to call and I've been on this call since the beginning, and I just want to say thank you for all you do. Stay strong and stay focused. Be blessed.
Thanks a lot, love. I appreciate you and appreciate all the support you've given me over the years, even before, I stepped into this mission right here. So I thank you for that, sister.
And I thank you. Be blessed. Peace and blessings.
One love, one love. Appreciate that. Always good to get some support from the hometown. Is there another question on the call this morning?
Pete, good morning. I just wanted to respond to your last caller and let her know that my son is also in second grade, and he came home speaking the same story about John Lennon being shot.
Wow.
And I was kind of appalled too. I don't want to smack his teacher, but I did try to explain some things in a more childish version so that he didn't have the fear of someone running up on him and shooting him with a gun.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Second
And
grade,
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, sister.
I'm done.
No.
I just wanted her to know it must be common this season or this second grade year. I don't know.
That shouldn't be common, because I'm a former school principal, okay? And I've never allowed, nor have I ever seen in the curriculum framework, nor have I ever heard of teachers talking to second grade children about murder and assassination. I don't talk to second grade children about murder and assassination. So again, make sure you write a letter. A letter needs to go to that principal, carbon copy to the superintendent. If you don't want to have a meeting about it, that's fine. But you need to let them know, I don't want to hear about this anymore, okay? Because that can psychologically traumatize children. You can psychologically traumatize children with graphic information, even if it's not presented with visuals. So make sure you follow up with a letter about that. All right. Is there another question on the call this morning?
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Good morning, sister. Where you calling from?
I'm calling from Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. I will be there Saturday. Go right ahead, good sister.
Okay, question. I guess a couple of things. One is, do you know anything about scholarships for the tour that's coming up this year? And did you say in June?
Yes, ma'am. June 28th to July 12th, and we'll be leaving.
Has that filled up, or is there a limited amount of kids that can go? Because I was starting a scholarship for my nieces and nephews and my grandchildren. Well, my grandchildren are not old enough yet, but my nieces and nephews are.
Okay.
And so I wanted to know.
No, I did not start a scholarship, but what I think I am going to do is I think that I am going to do a Kickstarter and have brothers and sisters donate. I will either do the Kickstarter and have brothers and sisters donate, or I will do they sponsor a child for the college tour, one or the other, or maybe both, because we do have some children who do have parents who won't be able to afford the $2,000 fee, which although it's $3,500, I'll pay the other $15, they pay the $2. We will have some parents who can't afford that. So I'm glad you brought that up to me, because that's something folks talked about last year that I didn't move on last year. I'm gonna move on it this year, to see if anybody wants to adopt a child, for the college tour, $2,000. Hopefully we can get a lot of people to do that. And if we get enough people to do the adopt a child, then maybe nobody has to pay, and then I'll just have to do a raffle to find out who actually gets selected to go on the tour. So I'm glad you brought that up to me. I'm going to move on that this week, my sister. I'm going to move on that this
What are
week.
your thoughts?
Go ahead.
What are your thoughts about doing fundraising for the specific cause of the actual school as well as the tours? Being able to prepare our children for the school, I think, is very important to, kind of like get them in the mindset of this is what it's going to be. And so I just wanted to get your thoughts about that. And then lastly, I wanted to know what your thoughts about, because I was planning to come to San Diego. I don't have any young children anymore. However, I do have 3 grandchildren, and one of them is by a European woman, and I love my grandchildren or whatever. But I mean, I've had a problem with that. But I would like for them to be able to get the information and be able to understand more about what's going on with them.
Well,
they may be experiencing a lot of the things that they'll be going through.
Okay. Well, firstly, I hope you still come to San Diego. Remember, for the National Independent Black Parent Association, you do not have to be a parent. You do not have to have school-age children. In African culture, the children belong to the village, so we're all parents. So even if you're not a parent, you can still be a leader, chapter president, a member. It's not just for parents. It's for all black people who are concerned. So I really hope you still come out. As far as your so-called biracial grandchild, and I say so-called because I really don't like to use the biracial label. And my premise as a Pan-Africanist, we don't deal in degrees of blackness. We don't do degrees. You're either African or you're not. So any child who is of mixed parentage is automatically an African. We don't call them biracial because there is no 50-50 split when you mix black DNA and white DNA. Our DNA is dominant. We are the genetically dominant race on the planet. We are biologically superior. I don't say that arrogantly. I say that as a scientific fact. We are genetically superior. So whenever a black man or woman mixes their seed with another person, that child becomes one of us. The product is African. So that young man is an African. Okay. And when the school opens, he's more than willing to come and be there. I had this conversation with some Puerto Rican parents. Okay, I say, listen, a couple Puerto Rican parents asked me if their son could come to the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. I said, why not? As long as you understand that they will be identifying as African. Okay, their culture might be Puerto Rican, but they will be members of the African race. They will pledge to the red, black, and green flag. If you're fine with that, then that's what we'll do. Go right ahead, sis. But the fundraising, I'm for that. And if you and I need to have a conversation, send me a text message because I'd like to hear more about your ideas about fundraising.
I will. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, sister. And I need the rest of y'all to mute your phone. Mute your phone, please. Mute the phone. Okay. Is there another question on the call this morning?
Yes, I have a question.
Where you calling from, Goddess?
I'm calling from Gaithersburg, Maryland.
Maryland, go right ahead. I'll be in Bowie State, first day of Black History Month. Go right ahead.
Okay, I just recently made a decision to send my son to live with his father. He's 12, and I had just watched your one of your lectures on baby mom, baby daddy. So that I was kind of in a little bit of conflict. We got divorced when he was 3, and I have 4 children. He's the only boy. He's the youngest, and so I just wanted to make sure he's been wanting to stay with his father, and his father's in Detroit, and I really did not. The reason why I didn't want him to go is because I don't think his father is, just, in my opinion, he's not very, I guess I don't think he's very well. He's not that well in terms of the way his outlook on life, like in terms of like being, an advocate for a lot of things that I'm not. But anyway, I just wanted to make sure I'm making the right decision, even though I think that his father is not, in my opinion, the best parent to have him. Well, I mean, I didn't earlier, but since the court gave me physical custody of him a little, some years ago, because he didn't show up for court, and I went to court for child support. So, but now I decided to let him stay with his father, and I just wanted to make sure I was making the right decision, even though maybe his father doesn't have some values and things like that, or some habits that I don't necessarily like. So, just wanted to make sure I was making the right decision.
Okay, and the decision, take me back again. The decision relates to whether or not you're going to let him spend time with him.
No, I don't have a problem with spending time with him. I just recently said that he could keep him. He could stay with his father.
Okay.
With his father full time. So.
Okay. How old is he? How old is he?
12.
Okay, good. And I commend you, sister. I commend you, because a lot of mothers don't have the humility that you have. A lot of black mothers who have sons in their preteen and teen years don't have the humility to say, listen, he's been with me for 12 years. He's had his mommy. Now he needs his dad. And I'm going to let my son's father take primary physical custody of him. I salute you. We need more black mothers to do the same. I know a lot of fathers who are crying out to raise their sons once they hit that age. And even from an African cultural perspective, the children are with the mothers in the early years, but then they become with the fathers in the older years. They go through the rites of passage and so forth. Encourage, especially in today's black reality, where you have this black feminist power that says, don't give the fathers any control, don't give the fathers any power. And I really salute you for doing that. That takes a strong mother to do that. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
And I guess I was, I was in conflict for a while, and because as a mother, you have like all these plans, you want a better life, and it took me like 3 days. I mean, I'm still kind of getting over it, because it's been like 4 days since I made the decision, but it's just that I think, as a mother, you still want to nurture and things like that. And me and his father don't really talk at all. I don't have any really communication with him at all, and he doesn't really like me, so. That's difficult when you have that kind of anger between the parent and stuff like that, where you can't, nurture like you want to. So I'm coming up with creative ways to do it, like over the phone, read them a story and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's difficult. It is very difficult, especially when you as a mother, you naturally want control over your kids. It's nothing wrong, natural. So just making sure I was making the right decision. So. Because a lot of times you don't have anybody to ask, so you're making them, as a single mother, you're making those decisions by yourself. So, but I watch it.
Exactly. I got you. Thank you for that, Queen. I think that's a good idea. Did you have a question that you wanted me to deal with?
No, that's it.
Okay.
Making sure I'm making the right decision.
You're making the right decision. You're making the right decision.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't go right, it can always be reversed. I just spoke with a mom. She had a situation where her situation had to be reversed because of something that was going on, but it was a very rare case. It usually works out, and I'm sure it will work out. Just continue to maintain that contact. So since he's going to be with the father, make sure there's a regular visitation schedule for you. So will he be coming to see his mom, every weekend or every other weekend or during the holidays? Just make sure you continue to get your regular contact, and you'll be fine.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sister. Thank you. Is there another question on the call this morning? Okay.
This is Tanya calling from Cincinnati.
Yes.
I do have a question.
Sure.
Okay, so I have 6 children. 5 are in a school district that has been sued and settled on a racial issue. I've been in this district for over 7 years. I have one of my children will be graduating this year, and I have an issue that took place maybe like 3 years ago, and I just want to get your advice on should I or how I should request for this to be off of my record. It was stated that I came to a bus stop, and the thing is that I never went to the bus stop. They said I cussed at the bus driver. None of these things ever happened. But they sent a letter to me stating that I was not allowed at the children's bus stop and all of this. But the proof that I had that this never happened was that I had a baby and just came home from the hospital a few days before they accused me of this. I want to know, should I be requesting and fighting to have that removed from my record, because I have had many incidences with the school district. This is not something that has ever stopped just because I'm on a calm period with them now. Doesn't mean that they aren't still after me or out to get me out of their school district, is the way that I view it. And so I'm just wondering, how do I fight to have that letter removed off of my record, out of my children's record at my district?
Yes, ma'am. The FERPA law. The FERPA law is what you will use to clear the record of that false information. The Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act law of 1974 gives you a right to challenge anything in your record that you feel is inaccurate. You need to write a letter. Okay. Did this incident occur while your child was attending the school that they attend right now?
I am not 100% sure, because they have done so many different moves within the school. So I don't know if my children still attend the school. However, we've never left this district. We still deal with the same people in the higher ups at the district. And there's still some sort of, just because I am strong, I will stand up for myself, but there's still some sort of play. There's always some sort of game with my school district, with my children. And so I actually just want that off of my record, because I never even walked to a bus stop. My daughter would get on the bus. What happened was my daughter was getting on the bus every day. They were calling her nigger bitches. They were pulling her hair. And my daughter, she comes from a family where her uncle was a fighter. He was a heavyweight champion of the world. And so she's not afraid to defend herself. But I have taught her that her education is so important that she needs to overlook those things. And so she was just enduring it every day. And I was calling the school district, and the bus company is how they work. So I couldn't call the school the bus company. It was a back and forth thing with the principal and the bus company. So I called the bus company, and she overheard my daughter. She overheard me tell my daughter, the next time somebody pull your hair and call you something like that, you take care of business. You don't let nobody put their hands on you. You put your hands back on her.
Right.
She heard me tell my daughter that, and then it was a lie on me instantly saying that I told the bus driver, I said I'm gonna whoop somebody's ass. I never said that. I told my daughter to whoop somebody's ass. So she overheard me taking me off of home, and so they put it on my record as if I said this to the bus driver, that I walked to the bus stop. There's a whole lie that was cooked up.
Okay.
From this. And I want it off my record just because I don't know if this is going to follow my children anywhere. I have a son who is, my son is he's so mature, and so he's about to graduate high school this year. I don't know what on their record or what these people will see when it's time for him or his brother to apply for scholarship, because I have another one graduating next year. And so I want to make sure that this school district that has been nasty to me is not doing something underhandedly, secret, and quietly that I am not aware of. Gotcha.
Yeah, write your letter to the superintendent. Make sure you include the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act 1974 as per my rights. Under the Federal Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, there's misleading information that is inaccurate in my child's record as it pertains to this particular incident of me being at the bus stop and doing X, Y, and Z. And I am now appealing to have it removed because this is a right I have under federal law. I'm hoping we can rectify this on a local district level so I don't have to contact the United States Department of Education, Office of Civil Rights, to take care of this for me. If you want, sister, you can email.
They don't fear that. They don't
fear that.
No, they will.
The
Trust me,
Department of Education.
they will. If you do the letter and you say that, okay, they'll listen. Trust me, because no school districts want the feds in their business. And the reason they don't want the feds in their business is if the feds come looking, the feds are going to find more problems than just the one you're talking about. Trust me. But write that letter, mention the law. If you want me to look at the letter before you send it in, feel free to email it to me, and I will look at the letter before you send it in.
Okay. I really appreciate that. I've been dealing with the school district with a lot of different racial issues. They've been sued. They don't. I've used the Department of Education because I had a principal who was actually bullying my child with the students. He was allowing it to take place continuously over and over again. And so I took a pastor with me. I actually took a pastor with me. He said, take someone with you. That will work, because I would not speak to this principal because I felt that he felt I was below him or beneath him in a sort of like classism. So I had to speak to the person who was next to me and make them speak to him. And so, that is true. You take somebody with you. So
Exactly.
I do want to testify to that. And then I will take care of what you're stating to me. I'll take care of that, and then I will contact you to, after I find out whether or not they are going to remove it or what is going to take place.
Got you. Yes, ma'am. And you have my cell number, sis?
I do have your number.
Okay. So contact me once that letter is ready so I can take a look at it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We have time for one more call. And I'm going to transition off the call. And then I need to make a little statement to my Facebook people. Go right ahead. Where you calling from, sister?
Dr. Umar, hi. Good morning to you and everyone on the line.
Good morning. Where you calling
And
from?
I'm calling from Philadelphia.
Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Go right ahead.
I have a daughter that is 15 years old. I've been going through quite a lot with her since 5 years ago. She has been diagnosed with ADHD, ODD, IED, and just most recently bipolar 2. She has been slowly getting more and more out of control with her behavior. She just got out of residential. She was in Wordsworth residential for 6 months. She just got out, and they did not help her at all. She came out worse off than what she was. Couple of weeks went by when she got discharged. A couple of weeks went by. Everything was good. It was the honeymoon stage. But yet she was slowly slipping back to what she was doing before, and that was eloping. She done left out the house a couple of times, like pushed her way past me, my mother, her aunt. Had to make numerous missing persons reports. The disrespect is like completely out of control. I got her father involved, so he's been helping, which is good, and I'm glad. But I'm at my wit's end. I don't know what to do with her.
How old? How old is the child? She's 15. And she lives with you. Okay. The biological father, you said he's been helping, the biological father?
Yes. I got in contact with him a couple of weeks ago.
Is he in Philadelphia?
Yes, he is.
Does he spend time with his daughter?
Recently, since I got in contact with him, yes. Before, no.
Okay, well, he needs to start.
Before I got in contact with him, she was in the 6th grade.
He needs to start spending time with his daughter. That's number one. He needs to start spending time with his child. That's number one. Number two, it sounds like there's a relationship issue between you and her. What is that coming from? Are there other children in the house?
I
he was the complete opposite of her.
Do
He's
you?
very intelligent. He's smart. He does what he's supposed to do.
And because he's the complete opposite, from your daughter, does that mean you might be guilty of comparing him to her, or sometimes throwing him in her face as a model of what she should be, or not really spending the time with your daughter you should be, and instead giving it all to your son because he's more of what you would like him to be?
No.
So you're not guilty of none of that?
I've never done that. I don't compare. That's one thing I don't like doing is comparing. I don't do that with them two, and I don't do that with anybody else. Now, however, she feels as though when she started doing, when I first started having behavioral issues with her, she felt as though that she was the bad child and he was the good child, and I would sit her down and tell her, like, why would you feel that way? I don't compare them.
You might not be conscious. You might not be conscious of all of your behavior. None of us are. But there's something that your daughter is picking up on that clearly is showing her that you have a preference for her brother and not her. Do they have the same father?
No, they don't.
Is your son's father involved in his life more than your daughter's father is involved in her life?
Yes.
That's another piece. Are you still with your son's father?
Yes.
That's another piece. So the youngest child, so it's coming together here. The 11-year-old has mommy and daddy, and y'all look like one big happy family. This situation sounds similar to one that was discussed by a previous caller. Does she feel like she's a part of that family, or is she an outsider? And how does your son's father, your king, how does he treat your oldest daughter?
Their relationship, we was, for a while we had, when I got pregnant with my son, with our son, we had broke up for a while. Then we wound up getting back together. So he came, in our life when she was 3. And he was, maybe about one or two. But he has always tried. But it was for her, it was never good enough because that wasn't her bed. It was never good enough. And regardless of him trying, it was like the more he pushed and gravitated towards her, the more she pushed and, reared back like, you're not my dad. I don't, it's strange, like, I can't quite explain it. Like, he really tried. And it just wasn't good enough for her. She didn't want him. She wanted her dad. And she always expressed to me, why my brother gotta have his dad, but I can't have mine? I told her, I said, well, I'm not with your dad, but you can have your dad. I just don't know where he is.
I got a question for you.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
How often do you spend time with your daughter alone outside of the home? And how much does your mate spend time with your daughter alone outside of the home without the brother and without the other parent?
Since I haven't been working, our time together alone outside of the home has been scarce.
Say that again.
When I was working, we used to do things all the time. We would have our, spa day and go out and just...
And why did that stop?
Working.
Okay.
Our time out of the home has been scarce.
Okay, and when was the last time? When was the last time y'all spent time out of the home together, you and your daughter?
Oh, wow. It's maybe about a couple of months ago.
So, okay, that's part of it. That's a big part of it. Now, when has he, so he's never spent time with your daughter alone outside the home, correct?
He has made, no.
Okay.
He has made plans. He has made many plans to spend time with her outside of the home. But it never occurred because she always wound up getting into trouble at school, getting put on punishment. So that result was it got put on the back burner.
Gotcha. Okay. First of all, you're going to have to start spending time with her outside the home again. Your husband may have to give you the money to do it since you're out of work, but there's no justification to not do it. So you need to put that back in play. Number two, he needs to spend time with her. And it ain't her choice whether she wants to go or not. That's the other thing. Remember, children want to see how committed you are. Children want to see how committed you are. So if you ask her if she wants to go, she's going to say no because, okay, who's talking? Okay.
I didn't hear anything you said because of the...
Yo, I need y'all to mute your phone. Y'all talking on my call. No talking on my call except me and the parent. Please mute your call. Okay? He's going to need to spend time with your daughter outside the home, and it's not her decision whether she wants to go or not. Remember, children want us to go an extra mile to prove we care. Children want us to go an extra mile to prove that we care. They always resist in the beginning because they're testing your sincerity. They always resist in the minute because they're testing your sincerity. So she has to go. He has to do it, though, not you. You don't make her go with him. He makes her go with him. You ain't got nothing to do with it. This is all him. You are not a part of the conversation. It is all him. And you have to let him know that. You're going to make her go with you. And then when you guys get out of there, you're going to make it a very, very fun time. Give her a hug. Tell her you love her. I know I'm not your dad, but I am your dad. And I hurt when you refer to me as not your father. I know you got another dad. I'm your stepdad. We both love you. It's on him to do it, but you have to make him do it. It's on him to do it, but you have to make him do it. Okay? And then y'all got to make sure y'all including her. Remember, when you have a non-biological child in the mix, you got to go an extra step to make them feel like they're a part of that unit. And y'all have to be more conscious of how y'all might be excluding her without even knowing it. It might not be on purpose. So ask other people in your family. Ask friends who know you well. From the outside looking in, is there anything I'm doing? And be honest with me because I'm trying to improve myself. Is there anything that I'm doing that you see that is excluding, that we're excluding her from the situation? And they might say things, yeah, I remember one time y'all did this. I remember one time y'all did that. I noticed that she did this. Ask other people around you because sometimes you don't even realize it. But she's clearly feeling it. And again, it could just be her perception. And if it is her perception and that perception is inaccurate, you guys can change it by having that conversation with her. And if you ever feel that family counseling might be necessary, because that wouldn't be a bad idea either, to have some family counseling with her, I have the perfect person. I have two people in Philadelphia, psychologists. One is an elder of mine and one is a young lady. I could text you their contact information and you guys could do a couple family therapy sessions too, and that might help.
Yes, please, because right now we have family-based services through Holcomb Behavioral Health, and
that's crap. That's crap. That's crap. That's crap. That's crap. All the behavioral health system in Philadelphia, just like the behavioral health system across the country, it's all nonsense. It's about dollars and cents. It ain't about no change. The only change that they about is the kind that jingles in your pocket, not the kind you see in your life. So they don't even count. That's all hustle. Nah, you need some real black psychologists who ain't about the money, who gonna come in and help you guys. Okay, so do you have my cell number?
Yes, I have your cell number. Actually, I texted you a long text message a couple of weeks ago.
So you could text me again and say, I was on a call today, and you said you had a referral for me in Philadelphia for family counseling.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
All right. So keep me posted on that.
Okay.
Okay. No problem.
All right.
Peace and love.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dr.
No problem.
Umar.
All right.
I really do appreciate it.
Thank you, love. So we're going to end the call right there. I want to thank everybody for chiming in. Once again, please donate to the FDMG fundraiser. GoFundMe.com/Dr. Umar. GoFundMe.com/Dr. Umar. Or you can mail in your check or money order payable to FDMG Academy, P.O. Box 6872, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania 19132. We need more donations because we're going to get us a school this year. And I would like to actually have the school by March so I can have from March of 2017 all the way until August of 2018 to prepare the school for our young men, because we're going to create heaven on earth. We were put here to create heaven on earth. We were not put here to try to run away as fast as possible by dying and going to heaven. You're supposed to make heaven on earth. As the Lord's Prayer says, let it be on earth as it is in heaven. Let it be on earth as it is in heaven. Los Angeles, California, you will see me on Saturday. Los Angeles, you will see me on Saturday. And to my Los Angeles family, to my California family, special request from Dr. Umar. I haven't had the chance to be on any major radio platforms to be interviewed. I haven't had the chance of being on any major radio platforms to be interviewed for Saturday's Power Lecture. If you have any contacts in radio, because there's a lot of family in LA who don't know I'm coming because I haven't been on none of the networks. So if you have any contacts in Los Angeles and you can get me on the radio for a couple minutes, it don't have to be long, even 5 minutes, just to talk about what we're going to be talking about at the Ward AME Church on Friday, January the 7th, please email me, drumarjohnson@yahoo.com, or please text me at 215-989-9858. And I'm also available to come into the studio and do an interview. I will also be available to come into the studio and do an interview while I'm in Los Angeles, anytime Friday and anytime Saturday before the lecture. I repeat, I will be available anytime Friday, January the 6th, and anytime Saturday before the lecture. I need to hit the radio, and I haven't hit the radio yet. Okay, so please let's do that if we can. All right, so Los Angeles on Saturday, and then we have Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad in New York City on Thursday, January the 12th, 415 Atlantic Avenue. 415 Atlantic Avenue. The venue has been changed to accommodate the large crowd. And then it will be the Martin Luther King Jr. Center, Monday, January the 16th, right here in Atlanta. I will be back in Atlanta in 2 weeks. Okay, Monday, January the 16th. And then we move on to Durham, North Carolina. My first visit in 13 years. Last time I've been to Durham, I was Minister of Education for the UNIA. Okay, I was local, I was regional, I was not yet international. So this is my first time back in Durham after 13 long years since 2004. I hadn't even been to Africa yet, so looking forward to coming back to Durham. And then we have San Diego, California. We have San Diego the 27th and 28th, Friday and Saturday. I hope to see all of you at the National Independent Black Parent Association training. I want to see all of you. We have to organize special ed, discipline, policy, finance, social support, homeschool, parent advocacy. Please join us in San Diego, California. And then on the 29th will be the Power Lecture in San Diego at the World Beat Cultural Center. The link for the Sunday lecture in San Diego is not up yet. The link for the Sunday lecture in San Diego is not up yet, but I will have it up by tomorrow. I'm sorry for the delay. Yes, you do have to get tickets. It'll be $20 like most events, and I'll have that up. But you can register for the parent conference right now. You can register for the parent conference right now, okay? Also, I'm looking for venues in St. Louis, Kansas City, Charleston, South Carolina. We found a venue in Chicago. So Chicago, you will see me Black History Month in Chicago. Something's going on in Chicago because I don't understand why we had all those killings. I heard the statistics in Chicago about the murder. Okay, what was it? 800 bodies almost. Chicago had its highest homicide count since 1997, I believe they said. Chicago had its highest homicide count since the 90s. Chicago, what is going on? And I believe that a lot of these murders, and my heart go out to the families of all Black people who've been murdered, and my heart goes out to Chicago. In Chicago, you know we have a special relationship because you guys helped make me. You helped start the career of Dr. Umar Johnson from an international perspective. So, you know, there's a special relationship there with Chicago as it relates to my history. And Chicago, I'm wondering, you know, is it possible? And I believe it is, and I've even heard evidence of this, that a lot of the blacks being murdered in Chicago are not being killed by Black people. A lot of the blacks being murdered in Chicago are not being killed by Black people. I believe that either the state government or the local government, but I think more accurately, the federal government has hired a paramilitary covert agency to carry out systemic assassination of Black men and women in the interest of population control. I'm going to say this again, and I have evidence of this. I believe that there is a paramilitary operation financed by the government operating in these United States, and I believe Chicago is a test case. I believe Chicago is a test case in the mass extermination of Black people. I believe mercenaries are killing these Black people. In Chicago, you have video cameras at most intersections. In Chicago, you have video cameras at most intersections. Chicago has more police than most cities in America. How can you tell me no one knows who killed this person? How can you tell me no one knows who killed that person? Don't get me wrong, for a lot of these murders, if they were caught on tape, for a lot of these murders, they did catch the perpetrator. But for so many hundreds more, they did not. I believe these are contracted killings. These are contracted killings for organ traffic. Contracted killings for organ traffic. And not only contracted killings for organ traffic, I also think these are contracted killings by the United States government in the effort of population control. I believe that. Until I see evidence to the contrary, I believe that. Facts. Facts. Chicago is a test case. And I think we're going to see more of these mercenary armies. The purge is real. The purge is real. The purge is real. Now, first of all, I want to say thank you to all of my haters. I want to say thank you to all of my haters, okay, for going out of your way to give me so much publicity with all the fake pages on Instagram and all the fake pages on Twitter and all the fake pages on Facebook and Snapchat. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I want to thank all of my haters, all of my detractors, all of the trolls that are always on my posts. I want to thank you for the negative publicity, because by doing that, you heighten other people's awareness and consciousness of who Dr. Umar Johnson is. If it wasn't for my haters, I wouldn't be as big as I am. If it wasn't for my haters, I wouldn't be as successful as I am. If it wasn't for my haters, okay, I would not be as global as I am. So I want to say thank you to all you trifling, dusty Hotep Negroes who have nothing but negative things to say about me, because you have brought a lot of people. You have brought a lot of people to the Dr. Umar Johnson movement. So I want to thank you, and I encourage you to keep it going in the new year. Thank you for the millions and millions and millions of dollars of free publicity that you dusty Hotepers like to give me. I thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I'm probably going to have a banquet to honor all of Dr. Umar's haters. We're going to have a banquet, and we're going to give out a lot of awards We have a lot of awards to give out. We're going to have Hater of the Year. We're going to have Hater of the Month, Top Media Hater, okay, Top Character Assassination Hater, Top Fundraising Hater, Top Doctoral Degree Hater. We're going to have a different award for every aspect and every accomplishment of Dr. Umar Johnson, okay? So thank you, haters. Wow, okay? Thank you to the haters. Now, as it relates to the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy fundraiser, it is amazing that I get so many questions about the money. What is he doing with the money? Well, guess what? GoFundMe. Listen. GoFundMe sent me an email a couple of weeks ago. Y'all don't know this. They temporarily froze my GoFundMe account. This is why I was down for a day. Y'all remember there was a day or two where my GoFundMe was down. You know why it was down? Because my haters sent letters to GoFundMe claiming that I was a fraud, that I was not serious about what I'm doing, that I was spending the money. And so GoFundMe said, we need evidence that you still have this money. We need evidence that you're actually trying to build a school. We need evidence of your credentials. This was GoFundMe the day that the page froze. So what I did was I sent GoFundMe a copy of the account ledger. I sent them a copy of the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy account. I said, here, as you can see, there hasn't been a single withdrawal from this account since it was opened almost 2 years ago. Not a single withdrawal. And then I gave them the bank information. And I said, feel free to contact my bank and verify that the information you see on that statement is accurate. And you also have permission to ask them if any withdrawals have been made from this account since it opened. GoFundMe did their investigation. They came back. They apologized and said we had to do this because your people, here we go again, your people, here we go again, your people were contacting us, making accusations against you. We apologize that we froze your account during the holiday season. We apologize, but we had to because we were getting letters from people who were claiming you were not what you claimed to be. So then I had to give them information on my university credentials because, again, you trifling Negroes. Okay, and I'm talking to the haters, okay, not the haters. Y'all been claiming that I don't have no doctorate. I'm not a school psychologist. I ain't been doing this for almost 20 years. Okay, so I had to show them I graduated from Millersville University of Pennsylvania, bachelor's in psychology, bachelor's in political science, master's in school psychology. Feel free to contact. I had to tell them I got my master's and my principal certificate from Lehigh University. I told them to contact them. I had to tell them I got my third master's and my doctorate from PCOM. Feel free to contact them. Okay? And then the Frederick Douglass thing came up, so I had to give them that. I'm a direct descendant of Stephen Henry Bailey, my 4 times great-grandfather, who was Frederick Douglass's first cousin, half-brother by virtue of slavery. I am a direct blood descendant of Isaac and Betsy Bailey, just like Frederick Douglass. I'm a direct blood descendant of Isaac and Betsy Bailey, just like Frederick Douglass. Family tree, here we go. Contact them, see if I'm not blood. So, y'all know I had to go through this for my doctorate. I had to go through this for GoFundMe. What else I had to go through this? Something else y'all did. What else did they do, y'all? The doctorate, the credentials, the GoFundMe, the bloodline. But to make a long story short, brothers and sisters, these haters, oh, also the IRS had contacted me too, because they wrote to the IRS. I want y'all to know how far they go. So when you guys take up for me, I thank you guys for taking up for me. They've contacted the IRS. Okay. You know, this is what they do. This is what they do. But I want to thank them. I want to thank them because you can only fly against the friction of the wind. You can only fly against the friction of the wind. So I want to thank you haters for all the negativity that you have brought to my life, because it has only made me more resolute. It has only made me more determined. It has only made me more committed to build heaven on earth for our black boys. Now, I looked at a school in Atlanta yesterday. I actually got inside. Y'all didn't see me inside, but the owner showed up and we got a chance to go inside. It's not a large school. It's a 220 student school. It needs some work. But let me tell you what I do like about the school I saw in Atlanta yesterday. Okay? It has a very large backyard. Y'all saw that on the very large. So I'm looking at the football field. I'm looking at the basketball court. There is no inside gym. And then the other side of the yard, you know what I want to do with that? I want to turn that into a physical training center where we have our own manhood training combat station where they got to climb through the mud and lift up and do the pull-ups and do the straight thug workout. You feel me? The Pan-Africanist workout, and where they got to climb up the ropes, the same type of training you get in the military. The same type of training you get in the military. I would like to do that training gym for the boys so they can stay in shape and build that alpha male energy, that physical alpha male energy. Now, there's no gym inside the school, but excellent outside the school. And he's giving me, the price ain't bad. He said, because the school is just under $1 million. The school is just under $1 million. But the owner, who is white, he said, I will work with you. You give me this amount down and this amount a month, and I will work with you. Direct buyer to seller agreement. So with the good thing about the Atlanta school, I ain't got to get no bank. I ain't got to get no bank loans. He said he will work with me on a lease to own type of deal. So when I come back for Martin Luther King Day, Atlanta, I need my Atlanta family, my Georgia family. I need some contractors, some plumbers, electrician, structural engineer. I need him to walk through that school. He said, he said, it's no problem. Just call me. I can get you back in. So what I need you guys to do, Atlanta, text me 215-989-9858. Do you know of some reliable I don't need no jack league. I need people with paperwork. This is serious now. This is the people's money. I need people with paperwork. But when I come back that weekend, King Day is on Monday the 16th. So I'm going to come on Friday or Saturday. So I'm hoping on Saturday or Sunday, I can bring a team to walk through that school for 1 or 2 hours and tell me, Doc, if you get this school, this is what it's going to take to get it in order. So I can do the numbers, because the Atlanta school does look financially doable, brothers and sisters. The Atlanta school does look financially doable. Now, I know it only does 220 students. So guess what I'm thinking we might do? If we do the Atlanta school, we may have a day school, right? The day school for, let's say we do kindergarten, first, second, and third in the day. So they go to school from, 8 to 3, okay? And then we have an evening school for the 4th, 5th, 6th graders, and they may come in the evening time. Now, parents who don't want that, they don't have to. You follow? Or we might go a little bit higher and say, guess what? We're going to do a 7th and 8th grade academy in the evening. where they go from like 3 until 8. They get dinner, they get the instruction, they get their manhood training, everything from like a 3 to 8, they go home and then they go to bed. So we may operate a day school and then we may operate a evening school. Now I'm gonna have to check the law because I don't know if children can go to school in the evening. If they can't, then we won't be able to. But even if we don't do that, guess what I'm gonna do? We're gonna start a GED program. Okay, and we're going to get in contact with the local school district and see if the local school district will certify us at that school, okay, to develop and implement a high school diploma evening program. Listen to me, family. You know how they kick our kids out of high school? Behavior, truancy, violence. We want to get permission from the district to give out a high school diploma for those who need alternative education. So when the babies are done at 3 o'clock, then guess what? The teenagers will come in from 4 until 9 and they will get their African history. They will get their economic science. They will get their military and political science. They will get their manhood training. And so now we're operating an alternative high school, an alternative special high school at nighttime, twilight program for the babies. For the teenagers, the babies, I'm still calling them babies, the teenagers, so they can get a regular high school diploma. Facts. 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 And then the school district, if they want, they can enter into a contract with the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy. A contract with the Frederick Douglass, because I don't want no donations and no grants. We don't do that. This is Garveyism. This is guerrilla Garveyism right here. So they can enter into a contract where we provide the alternative education services for so-called delinquent, maladjusted African-American high school students. They get an FDMG, alternative high school diploma. Facts. For those of y'all who got, we had parents called today. The 15-year-old dropped out. The 16-year-old got kicked out. The 17-year-old went to jail. They won't let him back. So how about high school alternative education in the evening at FDMG? Facts. So Atlanta, if you know some contractors, please send them to me. Text me, because we only got 2 weeks. We ain't got time to play. We got 2 weeks. Okay? So we got the Atlanta scenario in play. Detroit. I will be back in Detroit to look at Detroit public schools on the 19th and 20th of January. Detroit. I need you to do the same thing. Text me. Engineer, plumber, structural engineer, architectural engineer, plumber, electrician, contractor. So when I look at the Detroit schools on one day, the next day we can come back and have the contractors, the building crew walk through and tell me what we need. So that's Detroit in play. Atlanta is in play. I still have some schools in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Delaware I have to look at. Okay? But Detroit and Atlanta are looking good. Detroit and Atlanta are looking good. Detroit and Atlanta are looking good. Now, let me deal with this other thing where Negroes is talking about, why can't you start small? So you mean to tell me that your expectations for our community are so low? Your expectations for our community are so low that for Dr. Umar Johnson to say that I want to start with a real school building, the building in Atlanta is only 220 students. So you mean to tell me because I want to start with a real school building, I'm starting too big? Are you serious right now? For real, I'm starting too big? Are you serious? But you spend $9 billion on weave and perm. You spend $2 billion on Air Jordan. You spend $4 billion on alcohol and malt liquor. You buy 3 times the Mercedes-Benzes of white folk with only a third of the wealth. You spend billions of dollars on Christmas, and because I want to give our children a real school building, I'm starting too big? I need to start small? So you want me to just start another homeschool? So you mean to tell me that's how you think about our kids? That you don't care if they just stuck in homeschools for the rest of their life? You don't care if they just stuck in a storefront, okay, where school is being held inside of the church, or school is being held in a little corner store that used to be a liquor joint. I mean, that's enough for you. You're fine with that. You're fine if Dr. Umar Johnson just goes open up a little rinky-dink homeschool operation where all the kids are crowded into the kitchen and crowded into the living room, and I can only work with a couple of them. You're fine with that. That's what you think about the future of black folks. That's what y'all think about the future of black people. You're comfortable. You're comfortable with our kids, with all these millions of dollars we got. You're comfortable with our kids existing in a makeshift, underdeveloped, undersupported, underfunded school operation. That's not me, brothers and sisters. I'm not into that. I am a nation builder. I am a nation builder. And as a nation builder, we deserve institutions, and our children deserve institutions, and they deserve a place where they can run around. You can't run around at no homeschool. They deserve that. They deserve that, family, and that's exactly what I'm going to give them. They deserve that. You don't see Jewish kids running around at the homeschool. They got Jewish schools. You don't see the Chinese kids running around at the homeschool, little makeshift storefront, little ghetto-fied Afrocentric academy. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. You can do that, but I'm not going to do that because that's not what I was put here for. That's not what my ancestors put me here for. I got 6 degrees, damn it, and I'm going to use every one to help our children. I'm going to use the doctorate. I'm going to use the 3 masters. I'm going to use every credential, every day of experience and expertise that I got because our children deserve better. Facts. And what I don't understand is if you don't agree with me, I respect you. You don't have to agree with me. Go do your own school. Do my supporters understand me when I see my supporters is feeling me? I'm one. If you don't agree with Dr. Umar, move on. Do your own school. Why we only got to have one person working on the same initiative? We should have 100 people building their school. If you want to do homeschool academies, go do it. You want a charter school, go do it. I haven't stopped anybody from starting their own school. We have millions of black children. We have millions of black children who need this education. We got millions. So you ain't got to be on my team. Go start your own team. You got a lot of schools already out there. Go and help them. But you Negroes gravitate to me hating because you jealous. It ain't about the school. You jealous, you envious, you wish it was you wish you had the program, and so you hate because you cannot be me. You don't want to be me. This is a hard job. You might see the benefits, but you don't see the detriments. It's work involved in this. Every step you take, somebody trying to destroy you, you don't want that kind of life. That ain't no way somebody should have to live. You got to watch what you say on the phone. You got to watch how you interact with people because there's always somebody looking to destroy you. You don't want that life. So if you don't want to support me, you don't have to. Keep it moving. Just like my supporters were telling y'all on the live feed. They're coming on there hating. What you here for? What are you here? If you don't like the man, why do you keep coming to his platform? You know why? Because you really do like me, but you can't say it. You really do appreciate me, but you can't say it. You really do love Dr. Umar Johnson, but you can't say it. In fact, a great man once said that jealousy and envy is nothing more than negative admiration and adulation. Jealousy and envy is nothing but negative admiration and adulation. I don't put myself above nobody. I'm no better than y'all. If you've ever been in my space, you know that I'm a very humble brother. I don't leave a lecture until I've signed everybody's book. I don't leave a lecture until I've taken every picture. I don't leave a lecture if the elders got to holler at me. I make sure the elders get their time. You see how I operate. I'm the only one who does that. Do you understand? So you know I'm real. You know I'm real. And you hate me because you wish I wasn't real. See, I'm supposed to be a fraud. I'm supposed to be a fraud. 6 degrees, pushing the RBG platform with 6 degrees? Why is this Negro worrying about saving poor black folks when he could be making millions and millions of dollars? He must be a fraud. Let's see the degrees. Well, guess what? You can contact the university, get the credentials. Y'all sent the IRS after me. Y'all sent GoFundMe after me. Y'all done sent everybody y'all can send, and I'm still here, and I'm not going nowhere. So deal with it. Facts. I'm still here, and I'm not going nowhere because I've been assigned on this mission by the ancestors. This is an ancestral movement. It is bigger than me. I am not the movement. It is coming through me. Supreme consciousness is using me to get a job done. If you got eyes, you can see this. And don't get me wrong, I'm humble. I didn't want to accept it myself. But this is what I'm told by the spiritual community, the priests and the Iyanifas and the Babalawos and the Santerias. They tell me, listen, you are different. Not better, but you're different. Your mission ain't like no one else's in the conscious community. That's just the way it is. You're going to be attacked more because your goal is greater. And the reason you can't walk away from it, Ifa Tunde, no matter how much you want to, is because the ancestors sent you to do this job. You cannot quit it. We don't know how it's going to turn out, but what we do know is it's bigger than you and it's bigger than us. So stay the course. So stay the course. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes, but you got to get right back on focus. The mistakes will make the work harder, but what God has ordained for you, nobody can take. Keep going. Don't worry about the detraction. Keep going. Your haters are supposed to be there. They part of the equation. Keep going. So that's all. That's all. I'm just a regular brother. Okay, an ordinary brother who's been chosen to do a super ordinary thing. Okay, you got to ask the ancestors. I don't know. I don't know why they came into the ghettos of North Philadelphia. I don't know why they came into the ghettos of North Philadelphia, 8th and Susquehanna Avenue. Okay, dead broke poverty. Shout out to all my North Phillyites out there. Shout out to West Philly, Southwest Philly, South Philly, Germantown, Northeast, Dogtown. Shout out the East Oak Lane, West Oak Lane. But the ancestors came into the ghetto. And for some reason, they chose my parents. And on Nat Turner's birthday, I came forth with an Odu that said this is his job. I don't know. I don't know why me. I don't know that. I'm not even worrying because I'll never know until I go on that side. So just let me do me. You think it's a coincidence that the next full solar eclipse is on August the 21st? You think that's a coincidence? You think that's a coincidence? You think it's a coincidence that we have a solar eclipse? There's going to be one in February, and then there's going to be one in August. There's going to be one in February, and then there's going to be one on August the 21st. Do you think that's a coincidence? Do you know the Nat Turner story? Are you aware that Nat Turner saw an eclipse and that was his trigger to begin the revolution? Are you aware? Are you aware that the year that the bloodiest slave revolt in American history got started, there was an eclipse in February and an eclipse in August? And so here we are in 2017, and it's going to be another eclipse in February and an eclipse in August. Is it a coincidence? Is it a coincidence? I'm just an ordinary brother trying to do a super ordinary thing. I want to shout out my supporters. I love y'all. All the sisters. I love my queens. Shout out to all the queens out there. All my brothers who got my back, who stand beside me. I appreciate you, brothers. Okay. It's been a lovely journey. It has its ups and downs, but we got a new year. We're going into it optimistically. We got the first international Black Consciousness Convention popping. The first international Black Consciousness Convention popping. And this is going to be a great thing, y'all. This is going to be a great thing. So we're going to be strong. We ain't worrying about the hate. We appreciate the hate because you giving me free marketing. Y'all giving me free pages and you think you hating, but when people find out who I am, they like, wow, thank you, haters. This man helped me with my son. Thank you, haters. This man changed my life. Thank you, haters. This man confirmed what I've been thinking. Thank you, haters. This man gave me an idea for a business. Thank you, haters. This man inspired me to go into business. So I thank you, haters. Thank you. Keep going. So brothers and sisters, I'm going to end it on that note. We will be back again next Tuesday, Black Parent Teleconference. Next Tuesday, I will still be in Philly. Okay, so next week's call will be from Philadelphia. Okay, and we're going to end it on that note. One God, one aim, one destiny.